Hello and welcome to episode 56 of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. My name is Davey, and joined with me as always, to my right, the fine one himself, Philip Hoy.
Hello. Look at this. We are live, an in-person podcast. First time ever. Can you believe it?
First time, last time. It's been a bloody nightmare to set up. and to my left, Spencer Davis, the main boy himself, the sex magnet himself.
Oof, always born, mate. Born and bred. It's just the way it is. Mate, local episode.
Wild.
Absolutely my wild. God.
Who would have thought it?
Not me.
Not me.
Not me.
Not me.
I can't believe you guys are actually real.
I know.
Yeah. I could actually touch you. Weird. Look at this.
Was it big?
So strange. So strange, man.
Crazy. Well, parking that aside, why are we doing a special episode? Well, we're doing a special episode in person because it's Philip Hoy's birthday. I mean, I know he's had a lot of them, but he's got another one, and we're doing the podcast for it. So why the hell not get together? We got a really busy day lined up tomorrow for your birthday, right? So
we're going to be out and about drinking around Bristol. Should be good. We've got a couple of things set up. We've got iceless curling. Nice. We've got some pool. We've got some beer pong. And a hell of a lot of drinks through the day, so that should be good. We're going to start at 11 and drink right through, and hopefully we'll make 11 on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, so we thought, well, why not combine that, which is happening tomorrow morning, with our normal podcast schedule Friday night and just do it both at exactly the same time. So here we are for an in-person. So this isn't something you're going to expect every single time. But this is a first kind of test bed. So if the sound isn't quite right, if the look isn't quite right, it's our first ever time of trying anything like this, so go easy. Let us know what you think. If you think this is really good, if you really enjoy it, then we can try and do something when it's a special episode, you know, maybe an episode 60, an episode 70. You know, it's things like that, you know, maybe we can really try and do it for the bigger kind of moments.
I hope we've built up a little bit of, credit with our listeners. They might forgive us if there is any difficulties during this filming, but just think about it. For a big blowout, maybe the next milestone, we could do it in person and really go for it. Possibly. We'll see how this goes, and we'll see if my house is free at that time. And that's more the problem than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, just think, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. If you guys really enjoy it, then there's nothing stopping us, renting somewhere out or really going the whole hog on it.
Or take it on tour.
Taking on tour, baby.
Let's go up and down the country.
My wallet's stopping us from doing that. My wallet is stopping us.
Yeah, there is that. Listeners, if you want us to come to your living room and record, then write in pswetrust@gmail.com. I mean, the show's yours. Do with it as you will.
Power is really expensive these days. Electricity bills are going up the wazoo and out the wazoo. So if you can afford the electricity and you've got a big enough space to host us, let us know. Hit me up on the Twitter.
There you have it. Right, well, guys, normally what we'd do to kick the show off is we'd kick off with a question. But instead, what I thought would be quite nice is, as it is your birthday, Phil, we haven't given you your presents yet.
Oh, hello.
I thought that we'll skip going through the questions, and instead we'd give you your presents so you could open them on the show. How fun would that be?
Why am I a bit nervous about this?
There's nothing to be nervous about. There's nervous about. Spence, do you want to go, and as you're on the table,
presents.
do you want to go grab them?
Of course.
And then you can pick the order that we do them. I think that we save the biggest one for last, I think, but we go through the other two first.
Because, listeners, it is my big 38th birthday. Can we see this on the
83
second camera? 38. I've got that the right way around, haven't I?
You do. It's 83, really.
38 today. Big one. Big milestone.
It's a big deal.
Not 40 yet. I'm still young.
Okay, where am I putting these?
You could put them wherever. I suppose the best thing to do.
Jesus.
Can we pick that up on the second camera grabbing that? Yeah, it is. Right, I suppose what we're going to do, if we pass these over to Mr. Philip Hoy, let's go from in any order you want. Dealer's choice.
Okay. How did you know I like golfing?
I thought it was. I hope you like the paper because it's Christmas. Because it's Christmas at the moment. It's really hard to get kind of birthday wrap.
This is the same paper that I've got out there.
I don't know.
You didn't wrap this earlier, right?
When I went out to the car, I just wrapped it in your living room.
Should I guess what this is?
If you want to guess.
You can have a guess.
Okay, well, I'm predicting this is going to be something that we'll talk about later when we're talking about the video game award show, and it could be a nomination for it. Am I getting warm?
You're getting very warm.
Okay, is it Stray?
It is Stray.
It's Stray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll fake be surprised when I open it now.
Yeah, go on.
Oh my god, it's
Can't see it.
A PS4 version now. It's a PS5 version of Stray.
Hey.
Oh, what's
there
that
we
little
go.
sticker as
I
well?
know.
What's that? You got art cards.
I know.
Includes art.
Pissing me off. I bought
You
a
know
digital.
what? You know I'm into my art.
I want
I did
those.
a degree in art. I can appreciate art.
That's bullshit. I want those.
Maybe digital art. I did.
I bet that's art.
Thanks,
Oh,
guys.
I want.
I mean, I don't know when I'm going to fit this in between God of War, Callisto Protocol, and Christmas.
Yeah.
But I'll try.
It's a short,
It's a
sweet
short
adventure.
experience.
You can do it
Thank
in
you.
one sit.
It looked nice on my
Oh.
shelf for a bit. It'll go with those other games you bought me for my birthday, Christmas. that I just
Never
haven't got
been
time to get around to. But
Yeah.
thank you. No, I appreciate that one. I thought it was coming. I did predict it.
I think I told you about 5 times it was coming.
You did.
To be
You
fair.
threatened it.
I
Almost.
did. Yeah, it was a threat. It was a threat. I followed through with my threats. Right, the next one then.
Go for the top one, yeah.
Oh, God.
Here we go. You can see that Spencer's wrapped this very carefully. He's addressed it to himself.
Oh yeah, don't show the cameras the address. It is my address.
Any
on there.
hate mail, address it to. All right. Wow, second class letter as well. They've
Yeah.
gone all out for my birthday.
Big money, big
Thanks,
money.
guys.
Yeah.
I don't even know what
Any
this could
guesses what
possibly
this?
be.
Any guesses at all?
Is it another Game of the Year nominee?
Feels like a CD.
Ooh.
CD.
Oh,
CD's
okay.
nuts.
Could it be? No, it's a PlayStation game. It's a PlayStation 1 game.
Do you reckon? What
Yeah.
game could it be?
Could it be an original? I can say it at this point. Resident Evil.
Ooh.
I don't
Short
own
guess.
the original Resident Evil because
Short
there
guess.
is multiple versions of it, and you know I like all the different iterations of those games. It would look quite nice up on my shelf.
Going forward, I'm not going to tell you if you're right or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one was obvious.
First one was obvious,
I'm going
yeah.
with the PlayStation 1 game, but who knows?
Who knows? That's
You,
fair
you,
enough.
you vaguely know what PlayStation 1 games I've got, so hopefully it's
I
not
bought
one
you a lot of
it's
your
not one
last
I-
ones.
Hopefully it's not one I bought recently, because I bought a few recently.
I do?
Yeah.
A few more recently.
Well, I'll tell you when I open this, if I can open it, because it's wrapped in
Yeah, I didn't wrap it.
tons of tape.
It's wrapped better than mine was, and I got the missus to wrap it.
No fucking way. How did you find this? Brilliant.
Do you want to show the camera? And it's in a Polly pocket as well.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to keep that.
How
That's
nice
very
did you get?
My, that's in pristine condition, my God. It is Wayne Gretzky's ice hockey.
From the year I was born.
What the absolute fuck?
Sexy
They
moments.
have found the iconic game of Wayne Gretzky's 98 3D hockey.
3D.
That's our
Man.
plan this weekend, I reckon. So
We
we get
need-
trashed.
We need to stream some of this. What does this even say inside?
This is 97 fly-in, apparently. With a
Incredible.
question mark. Nice. Maybe it's a cheat.
Have you
Should be
checked? Have you
scratch the shit.
checked the disc?
It's been in the parcel.
Pretty clean. Pretty good.
I can tell you a little story
Thank
about
you.
that. I'll
Yeah,
tell
go-
you,
go
it
on.
really wasn't hard to find. Very easy to find. And it cost me £4.
Is that
I pre-
including postage?
Yes.
That's brilliant.
I absolutely appreciate it.
I literally found it thinking I bet it's going to be like one of those stupidly rare games for no fucking reason. And it was £4. I found it immediately. I was like, let's go.
There it is. It's so popular. Everyone's got a copy at home.
Everyone's got a coffee.
Yeah. I didn't want to part with mine.
There's one game that I'm very thankful you got, and then one game I'm very thankful you got.
there
That
you
is
go.
a perfect present. That'll go pride of place on my shelf. That's a game that I've always wanted, guys. And I talk about it probably more than most games outside Death Stranding. It's probably my second most mentioned game.
I think the order that we're going with
Yeah.
this in, we're ending with the biggest of them all. So
We
this is-
spoiled you. We spoiled you.
We've
this
gone all
birthday.
out this year. It
feels
like you guys have both done me well for my birthday. We both did yourself well. I think we did anyway, Phil, for Spencer's birthday. This year, what we've done is we've combined our buying power together to create something really good, and I think we've done that well. I had a good display for my birthday. I was really grateful
yeah.
for. You had a great My Hero Academia statue.
Back
I
a
think.
go, yeah, back a go. How
So
could you forget?
this is our present for yourself.
Fucking hell. I think it's just dawned on me what this actually could be.
I'm not going to tell you regardless.
Yeah,
if
we're
you
not
are.
gonna say.
I really hope it's not this present, guys, because I do not know where I'm going to keep it.
Open it up. Let's have a look.
Yeah. You got to think, we've spoiled you quite a lot already, so how expensive...
I'm happy with this one. This one I will play at a certain point. But is this a collector's edition of a game?
I can't unfortunately confirm anymore.
It's big and heavy. Does it jiggle?
I don't think so.
Okay, God.
Depends how hard you shake it. I
Please
suppose.
don't be what I think it's going to be.
Hope you enjoy it.
I hope you enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it.
I think you'd enjoy it, especially when you're talking about putting Wayne Gretzky pride in place on the mantle.
Yeah, exactly. Something for the mantle.
Definitely one.
What is it? What could it be?
Oh, it's that thing that I really didn't want.
Let's put it out on the table.
Oh my god, guys. What am I going to do with this? Jesus. Can the camera see that? I'm throwing it over to the second cam here.
Let's pull it out.
It is the Dead Island Riptide Collector's Edition, which I know what's inside. Do you want to do the honours?
Let's do it.
Look how excited he is.
Jesus.
Oh, it opens
Christ,
on the
guys.
front as well.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, you can get a peek.
Oh my god. What the hell? I got it. Go on, pull.
Oh,
Don't hurt her.
I don't. It's expensive. I showed my wife this, and she said she really liked it.
Jesus Christ. What am I going to do?
What if your internet goes out? You've got some material to use.
What else you got in here? I haven't opened this. I saw it and I saw how large that thing was, and I thought, oh my god.
That's the game, isn't it? Surely.
Oh, sealed as well.
Sealed! I suppose no one bought it.
Absolutely sealed. What else you got in here, Phil? I think you got some good stuff in here, mate. This was well worth the. You don't want to know how much we've spent on this.
Yeah, we treated you.
I almost want a refund. I put it back on eBay. What am I going to do with this? This, look at it! Look!
Oh,
It's got
that's
sick!
That's
To
really
be fair,
good.
that's probably good.
That is really good.
That's sick!
That's
What?
actually nice.
That is so. No one's touched this, I don't think.
We can
No,
all
never.
appreciate a nice steelbook, can't we?
That is one of the best
Let's
steelbooks
have
I
a
think
look.
I've ever seen.
I'll swap you.
Can I hold it? I've not held it. Oh
I haven't
my
held it either.
God. Oh, baby.
Calm down,
Oh,
Spence.
you got a nice art thing as well.
I appreciate the art, as we know.
Phil, what are you going to name her?
She definitely deserves a name.
She deserves a name. And it's got to be like these, like Candy with a eye.
Oh, Candy's good. She's British though, isn't she? So she wouldn't be Candy.
I've got an idea, guys. I think we should put it out to the listeners and the viewers to name her. And then we'll do a ceremony, a naming ceremony live on the next podcast. So in 2 weeks' time, guys, if you've got a name for my half, mostly naked zombie torso with her boobs out, message in Twitter, the email, direct message any of the guys, not me, and give me some suggestions for the name, please, because that's going to go on my shelf for a little bit, I guess.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
My
Welcome, mate.
pleasure.
You're
My
welcome.
pleasure. I hope you're very grateful for that. Took a lot of planning for me and Spencer to be able to pull this all off and to be able to get all this in there. I'm glad you appreciate it.
If I pull it.
My wife did say, just so you know, that if you ever do get sick of the statue, she will gladly take it out of your hands. And I said, you are not putting that anywhere near my 4-year-old son. And she was like, no, I really like it. And I was like, well, you would. So there you go. You got my wife's approval anyway.
It's perfect for us recording today, though, isn't it? Because we need to adorn this table with some
Yeah.
trophies. We've got the handsets here for this camera that can see us. We've got our beers. We've got the lovely gifts that you guys have presented me. And then, of course, we've got...
I was
This?
thinking you could do like a crack it open, have it on the thing.
Oh, my God.
Oh my god, look at this art direction.
Yeah.
It's like we're in CEX or something.
He's
he's dressing the window.
He's
like
wasted on
this.
this podcast.
He is
He's absolutely
wasted.
wasted.
Yeah. CEX, give me a bell. We can suss him out.
up there. It might not be visible on this. No, it's not. But that's fine. You got Wayne Gretzky's. You got pictures on the back.
So moving on from that, I think it's about time we discuss what we've been drinking. Phil, you've got a lager that is absolutely ridiculous. Look at the size of that. What's it called? Faxe?
Well, Davey, tonight I'm on the cold, hard facts. So I'm going to bring it up to this camera. I'm going to bring it up to this camera. It is a beast of a can, and it's adorned with Vikings and horns and axes and goats. I thought it was fitting for maybe the game we'll talk about a little bit later when we're talking about what game we're going to play. But it is a huge can, and yeah, there's quite a lot to get through here. So
Yeah.
it might be my only drink of tonight.
What's a shame is it says collector's edition at the top of that can. Have you spied that?
Just at the top.
Collector's item, and to actually break it for
I
this
know,
podcast,
yeah.
that's a true determination. That is. Especially when you got like a Mr. T rip-off right here. You got this guy looks like a Stone Cold Steve Austin version of Kratos. You got
You've got a hammer with a face on.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
I don't know if we're seeing this on the camera.
Honestly, this can is absolutely it's a madness. Well, fair play. I hope that looks after you, this podcast. But what about yourselves, Mr. Spencer Davis? What are you bringing to the table?
Well, currently, I'm actually about to run out. I'm on the last legs of it, but I've been drinking Asahi. Or what? How do you say it? Asahi.
Asahi, yeah.
Asahi. Wrong. But Asahi I've been drinking, and it's been lovely. It's actually been going down a treat. But I do have 2 other beverages in the fridge, and then
have you got?
who knows? Well, I've got the Grolsch, the poppy top, which everyone loves that, and I also have kind of following in Davey's footsteps an Estrella.
Oh, what great
There
choice.
we go, mixing and matching. We are drinking good tonight, boys.
Great choice. Well, this is my second one of the night. So I started off with a Korev, which is one of those Cornish lagers. You guys ever had one of those before?
I have them a lot in Bath. They're the posh lager, if you like. I
They
think
are.
there's a little bit of substance there, isn't there?
There is. And they're not. Have you ever had one, Spence?
Never.
No, you strike me you wouldn't have had one. But they
don't get as far as Newport.
they stay clear.
Yeah, Carlin, Stella, they're what goes around
Yeah.
Newport, but
No way.
the Corev's probably not so much.
Yeah, no chance.
Not to be elitist in any way.
Yeah, but no, they know where they're going to sell, and they ain't selling there. But yeah, it was on one of those 3 bottles for a £5 deal, and so I got a bottle of Grolsch, a bottle of Korev, and my third one. I can't remember what I've even got. Do you even remember what I got? It's going to be a mystery later.
Would you like me to check?
No, it'll be a mystery later on. I'll pull it out later on and let you know what it is.
It's a surprise for our viewers as much as it's a surprise for
It
you.
is. I remember when I bought it, I thought I'm going to be probably gutted. Because I remember I was like, I could play it safe and get an Estrella, but I haven't tried this one. And so it's one of those things, And I could have gone for one of the classics, a Super Bock.
Nice.
Something that I've had before on the podcast. But
Yeah.
2 years of doing this, I've had quite a lot of lagers that
We've
sold
gone
at
through
Asda
quite a
and
lot,
stuff.
haven't we?
Trust
Yeah.
me.
Like it's
Yes.
hard to find something we haven't tried in terms of lager because we look to our right and I've got a well-stocked kind of stack of beers and they're all very unique, right? And I need to start drinking those again, but
They look disgusting.
Yeah, they do.
very, very, very much away from drinking beer. I've gone back to the lagers, and that's why the
on the
cold hard
fence.
facts. that stood out to me.
You're speaking
Premium.
facts, though. That's the thing.
I'm gonna be spitting facts all night.
Spitting facts on the facts. Well, on that revelation, let's move it on to what we've been playing.
This time on NPS We Trust, what have the boys been playing?
This time.
So, guys, it's been 2 weeks since the last podcast episode. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera. This is such a weird thing.
Yeah, you
for
kind
me.
of have to.
You kind of
Yeah.
have to. I
Kinda
feel like
have
I've got to
to.
kind of bring
You've
it.
got to look at the camera and talk to me.
I know.
Yeah.
How do people do this? Right, I'm underselling what Greg Miller and all those do, and I'm like, they really presented that shit at the Game Awards. I can't even do this, right? Anyway, moving aside that, guys, it's been a couple of weeks since we last got together. There's been some major games come out, and I'm sure we're going to be discussing about one of them in particular quite a lot on this.
Has there?
Yeah, there has. There
has, mate, yes.
It's been a pretty major release. But I want to know what you've been up to. Spencer, I'm going to come across to yourself, and I'm going to direct you, because I know we're all going to want to talk about one thing in particular, but I want to direct you first off. You've been playing a little bit of Call of Duty with myself.
I have.
This is probably the last time we discuss Call of Duty in any meaningful way, for a couple of episodes at least, until we get some distance from other games that have come out. I want to know, and this kind of goes out to both of you, but I'll direct it to yourself first, Spence. COD, how are you feeling about it? We're at the start of Season 1 now.
Yeah.
Thoughts all this time?
Right, well, Call of Duty, I mean, it's fucking just an exceptional game. Absolutely exceptional game. It gets better every year somehow. Sometimes it doesn't. Last year it didn't actually.
No, not all the time.
Yeah, not all the time, but it usually goes a step above and beyond. And this year it 100% has. The game gets better every time I play it, depending on how many times they give me Embassy. I'll stand by it.
It's so
Sold
trash.
out to the
by
map
it.
choice, isn't it?
trash.
Yeah.
I hate that map. But in terms of the actual game itself, it's bloody stellar, boys. Absolutely stellar. I love it.
If only there was an option where you could kind of select the maps that you wanted to play. I've seen that done in not previous CODs, but previous games where you have a bit of choice when it comes to what map you want to play on. If they introduce something like that, I don't know if it becomes unfair then, because you are playing at the sort of the competitive angle, aren't you, with COD?
Yeah, I suppose. They did have a system in the older Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare 2 and the early Black Ops, where it would tell you what map you're going to be on, and there was a vote to skip button.
Yeah.
And if
There we
enough
go.
players in the
There we
lobby
go.
voted to skip, it'd just go on to a different map. But you could only do it once.
But this is the thing though about this, isn't it? Where like it's supposed to have these consistent lobbies, and it does happen. Don't get me wrong, it does happen. Do stay with the same lobby, but it seems to be random. It's not like you always stay with the same lobby. It's like maybe this time you will, maybe you won't, and it's always when you're with the sweaty lobby that fucking destroys you.
They always stay.
You'll stay.
They'll
You'll
stay.
be with them.
They'll
They'll
stay.
They're quite happy staying.
You're hoping they need to get their lunch, or they need to go to the
Please.
toilet or something, or the door rings, or like their phone goes or something like that. But no, they're constantly on it, and then your phone rings.
Yeah, and then it's like all
Yeah.
I'm doing is I'm waiting there, and I text Lottie. I'm like, please, can you interrupt this play session? I need to get out of this party. I need to back out, and she just ignores me. Whereas what I need to do is I need to somehow find the number for these kids and phone them and be like, just let you know, sorry, your mum's tragically had an accident. She's at the bottom of the stairs. You need to go have a look. And they'll be like, oh God, please. And then I'll quit out, and that's it. And then I'm free then.
What you could do is take a picture of this new statue, soon to be named, and then send them that and say, this is what your mum now looks like. And they'll panic.
Jesus
They
Christ.
will panic.
Jesus.
And they will log.
Or they'll be like,
What they do with the photo, who knows, right?
Yeah.
They might like it, yeah. They
Stays to behold.
might- crikey.
The actual method you could use, mind, if there's a cracked kiddie in your lobby and they're on Xbox, chances are they might have a built-in Connect. So what you do is you go into voice chat in game and you say Xbox, turn off. And it turns off their Xbox and then they're gone.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a
good.
great idea.
I like that.
There you go.
It's when I'm on a Zoom call and people mention that word that we cannot say, begins with an A. It's
Yeah.
the Amazon voice assistant.
Yeah.
And literally everyone's, devices around their houses starts playing certain songs.
Oh.
So that's always fun if you're kind of presenting something on Zoom and then you're like, play Duck Sauce, the Big Bad Wolf. Right? And it starts going, whoo, 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 woo, around their house. Hilarious. Try it at home, guys.
Try it out.
Dear God. Well, we'll leave that. Well, no, I got to say, like, going off on what you've been saying with Call of Duty, I've been loving it. I mean, absolutely loving it. I think we finally got the combat lock now. So Season 1 launched earlier on this week, if I remember rightly. I think it launched on, like, Wednesday, I think. And it finally gave us the ability to look at our kill-death ratio, to look at win.
I have not looked at that.
No, well, I didn't want to look at it, I'll tell you what.
Come on.
So we finally had a look at it, and Spence, fortunately, has pulled up the stats here. And it's not been good. It's not been good, listener. Because you've got the ability to play as all these different weapons, and you'll be able to go in. Krakatoa is looking like the Sugarloaf Mountain right now. It's looking like that's a very South Wales reference. I get that. It looks like one of those things that you could hop, skip, and a jump, and you're at the top of it. Because my KD is only at a 1.01 right now,
Yeah.
and yours,
Awkward.
Spence, is at 1.07.
Yeah, so marginally better, but let the listeners and watchers know I am still better.
But in the most minuscule amount. Now, I blame that on the fact that we've been trying to level up pistols and knives and all that bollocks that's been destroying us.
And you've had me dragging you down as well, to be fair.
Oh.
No, you've been helping us out. You give us easier lobbies.
I don't say I'm good at these games,
Oh.
It's not my forte at all.
Well, this is the good thing, is no matter what you come out with on your combat record, you look golden compared to us. Because we've been hyping ourselves up like
Right.
the golden
Yeah, it's
gods,
true.
and it turns out we're absolutely shit. So this is skill-based matchmaking for you, though. And as time goes on, hopefully we'll improve that to the point where it should be. What would you say? 2.0? A run over there? A 1.89? That's the best I've ever got, 1.89.
I would say roughly my peak would probably be about a 1.8. I would not say a 2.0. I think with long legs in a game,
We've got 2 years on this.
exactly.
If we're still doing the podcast by then, are you putting shots on this?
Absolutely.
I love a bet.
Absolutely not. I think the thing is, you got to realize the deaths hit so hard when you do have a bad game. You could literally have one terrible game and your KD will drop by like 0.20.
Oh, wow.
So it's very detrimental. You have to be good every single game. You have to be consistently good, and I'm not. I have some games where I'm top. I'm up like 20 games where I'm top of the team, and then I'll have one game where I have the shittest game I've ever played, and that brings my KD down from 1.8 to 1.0.
Ouch. Yeah,
That's
you don't want to
grim.
see that.
Yeah, it's
That's
bad.
grim.
You have to be consistently goated at the game. And I tried to be. I'm not.
Well, we know it's out there now, so we can't hide from those stats. I got to say for myself, I'm glad to say, listeners, viewers, I've got the platinum. So there it is. Platinum is done. It's over. I don't have to worry about it. I've done all the single player campaign. We did the co-op stuff. It's over. And now it's just a game that I can play for fun with you guys.
Nice.
And so I'm looking forward to playing some more of that. Phil, you were playing a bit of Call of Duty, but we haven't really hooked up over the last 2 weeks, have we, to be able to play it?
No, unfortunately not. Like, there's been a few things in the way. Life has, taken its toll a little bit. I've been drawn away. And then, of course, we've had the game that we're going to be talking about next come out. And it's an easy choice for me, isn't it? I'm always going to play that over COD. But I am really interested to jump back in, play some more multiplayer with you guys, and, of course, play that story, which I hear is, a pretty good one.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. Well worth a check out, especially. But we know why you're here, listener. I can drag it out.
It's coming, baby.
I can drag it out as much as I want. Maybe we should talk a little bit more about Returnal. Like we've already talked about that 100 times.
We talked about Death Stranding. Wayne Gretzky's?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
Talk about Death Stranding.
Dead Island Rip Time.
Yeah, Death Stranding
Death
Rip
Stranding
Time.
Rip
What am I
Time.
talking about? Yes. Let's talk about the biggest elephant in the room. Yeah. Let's talk about God of War Ragnarok. It's finally here. Now, if we were separate, if we were in our own locations, it would cue to the point where I'm walking up to the camera in shadow with Thor's hammer screaming at the top of my lungs, right? That would definitely be happening right now.
Can't you summon it? Reach into that camera. Hammer!
I haven't quite learned
No,
it yet.
you haven't learned that ability.
All I've learned so far is to put it from its box into my trophy cabinet and then leave it there.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
You've got the hammer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just got to learn to harness that energy. Guys, I'm going to pass it over to both of you here now, and I'm going to come to yourself first, Phil.
Okay.
I want to hear your thoughts on God of War Ragnarok. And I want to first off preface this just for the audience here. You were someone that I begged you to play God of War 2018. And you said, no. Oh, I'll get to it at one point. Buy it for you for Christmas. I'll play it in 4 years' time. That kind of thing.
Just like straight.
Just
right?
like straight into me down. And when you eventually got to it, it was a long journey that you went on with God of War.
Yeah, took a couple of breaks.
It did. It was your journey to spread your mother's ashes. Felt like you'd actually physically travel to the Jötunheim.
My mum's still alive before we go to there.
True.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you travelled through realms yourself to be able to do it. It took you such a long time.
Great analogy. Yeah.
It finally ended, and you reflected on the game, really enjoying your time.
I did.
That's fair to say?
Yeah, fair to say.
Brilliant. How are you finding this?
I am equally, if not more, enjoying this game, right?
Ooh.
I'm sure that's the popular opinion on this, right? Because in my opinion, and from what I've been reading, it's the same game, but everything's been improved, okay? I was only watching Maximilian's YouTube channel earlier, and he was talking about the transition between 1 and Ragnarok, and he was likening it to how Doom impacted the world when it first came out, because it was a massively impactful game that had moved on from its predecessors. And then Eternal came along, and it was everything but improved, right?
Yeah.
It was the same game, but you would never go back to the original play, because that one is the far superior game. And it's exactly the same for God of War. I couldn't go back now and get that platinum, because this game is so goated. My God, I have played 15 hours of this game and I can't put it down. It's all my gaming time. I've played 2 games of League. I'm not playing my normal quota of League of Legends in bronze, right, guys? I'm just coming down and I'm playing God of War, and it's that good. That takes a lot for me to bite my tongue and say, actually, Davey, you were right.
Oh, that feels nice to say. But this is a different game. I didn't push you onto this one. This was your own opinion. Spencer, you're both quite interested on this, because I'm very much like straight edge on this, right? So when we get to me, it's very much a case of I've always loved God of War. I buy God of War. I love God of War. Whereas for yourself, Spence, you played God of War 2018, you finished the adventure, and you weren't that impressed by it.
Yeah.
You thought it was very mid. Well, I don't know about mid, but average, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of a case of I didn't think it was mid. I thought it was a great game. I really did. But I just somewhere within how long would you say the first game was? 30-ish hours?
I went for platinum as I played it, so let's say about 45 maybe.
Yeah, a bit longer I would have gone
Okay.
for, yeah.
So let's say it's 40 hours. I think within 20 hours or just approaching 20 hours, I started to get bored. And then I just something in me the entire rest of the way, I was persevering because I knew I should play this game. It's a monumental game. But I was just kind of bored all the way through until maybe the very end when it kind of brought itself back up for me.
Is it the repetition in the game?
It probably very much was.
Because this was something that I was trying to explain to you when I was 5-6 pints in at your sister's anniversary about how sort of modern games need to move away from circulating the same kind of set pieces over and over again. So you've got exploration, you've kind of got a boss fight, you've got some minions to fight, and then you've got a bit of story. And it kind of repeats it. It was so obvious when we look at games like Uncharted, right? You had the rope section, the gun section, right? It was just the same things over and over again. And I kind of feel like the first God of War, that was obvious.
Yeah.
In this one, I think it's less obvious, but it is still there.
Yeah.
The blending of those kind of components, I don't think we've achieved just yet within modern gaming, especially on PlayStation.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because you look at certain seminal titles, like say for example, The Last of Us 2. You look at a game like that,
Fantastic.
and it does seem to transition in and out of cutscene, in terms of in and out of what you're doing in terms of the tempo. You can go from something being 0 to being 100 like that.
Yeah,
in Last of Us 2.
instant. Yeah.
You think about that moment where you go to that item crafting box in that guy's flat.
And he creeps up behind you.
And
Yeah,
you just
and
get
he
pulled
rips
out.
you off.
And you're like,
Scary. Spoilers.
Oh, it's
been
not
long
even
enough.
story,
Yeah,
but yeah.
it's been long
Oh
enough.
my
Yeah.
God.
But you think about it, you've come out of that whole stealth encounter. Or does that start off the whole stealth encounter?
No. There is a stealth encounter. You climb into a building and there's a tool bench. And then as you start crafting, he pulls you off. And there's not a single player in the world who didn't go, "Ah!" when it happened.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I hacked myself.
And it's those kind of moments that make you feel like as if anything can happen at any point, that you're not safe, right?
I like it when they set you up. So you walk into a room and you expect a certain thing, and then they reverse it.
Yeah.
Well,
They change it, right? And that's what The Last of Us did.
it did really
I
well.
don't feel like God of War does.
There's
No.
moments in this.
Yet.
Yeah.
I suppose this is important to preference. We got to say how far we are through this, because this will, and of course, throughout this whole conversation, I know there's many of you that will have said, "Do you know what? I'm not going to touch this whole moment. I'm not going to touch this whole thing. I don't want to be spoiled."
No.
We're very, very aware that we could potentially spoil God of War.
Well, we're all at certain levels. So you could spoil it for me, I could spoil it for Spencer.
You could
right?
both spoil it for me. Please don't.
Yeah, so we're not going to. We're not even going to entertain the idea. So listener, fear not. What we're going to do, so we don't spoil anything now, is we're going to speak in very much broad strokes. Nothing too crazy. But we will be doing, sorry Half-Life, a spoiler cast from the past on God of War Ragnarok next.
I feel like you guys have discussed this without me.
We have done,
And,
yeah.
and again, it's one of those vote situations, right? And this is why we haven't done another kind of like IGN best of, because I don't get my voice heard at all, because it's always 2 against 1, right? Whatever you say, you back him up. Whatever you say, you back him up. So I feel like it's that kind of situation here. But you know what, guys? I agree with you. I fucking do. So let's do God of War first,
There we
and
are.
then we'll do Half-Life. Half-Life is a classic that will live on forever.
It will.
True.
God of War, maybe not so much. But we'll see.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's very
know.
interesting. Well, we'll have
God
to
of War
see.
3 is just going to be better, and then people will forget about it, same as the first one.
dunno.
Come on.
It's
Could
rare
be.
that a sequel ever gets the same Metascore as the original. This is like the only time it's happened.
2s are always better than the first one as well.
A lot of time.
A lot of the time, but
A lot of time. Anyway, I think it's time to literally go back to God of War and just let you know we're not going to spoil anything, obviously. But I want to get into some more minutiae with this. And you were talking, Phil, about the fact that there was a lot of repetition in the first game.
There was.
I got to say, I'm 25 hours in now at this point. I don't know how far in you guys are.
I'm 15 hours.
I'm like 6.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Well, the one thing that you want to take some comfort in is the fact that even this far at 25 hours, I haven't seen enemies repeat, which is a major deal. No bosses anyway. General enemies, fine.
Yeah, okay.
No
Yeah, I was just going to say
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, same.
I don't know how you're playing the game.
No, I mean, enemies, fine. I'm not talking about that. No one cares about enemies. It's the same like, you talk about something like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, anything like that. You all see the basic bitch, bad guy fodders.
Uncharted. They just follow you through the whole game, right?
It's
They're the
fine.
same person.
That doesn't matter. All it's about is the bosses. And
Yeah.
when you're talking about the repetition that's in the first game, you fought the same ogre troll guy about 10 times in that first game.
Yeah, that's true.
Just one time he's ice, now he's fire, now he's earth, now he's a little bit poison. And it's just like, it's exactly the same guy. It's the same fucking model.
Why'd you say it like that?
Oh, it's just annoying. It was like one of those things where...
Poison.
Oh,
Poison.
it was so annoying. It was one of those things where someone pointed out to me when I was first playing it. I thought, you don't fight him that much. And then next thing you know, you go down to hell, and I was like, I'm fighting him again. and then next thing I'm doing a trial, and I'm like, he's in the fucking trial as well. He's everywhere, that guy. Whereas here, what I like is that moment, and this isn't a spoiler, very, very early on, you take that lift down, and you encounter that troll.
Right. Yeah.
And then Kratos literally just decapitates him straight away, and I was like, oh, we're not fighting him. Thank God we're not fighting him. And it was almost like as if it was the dev saying, don't worry, we got you.
Yeah,
we
he's
got
gone.
you on this.
They're gone.
I do feel like they make jokes about themselves quite a lot in this game.
Yeah.
Especially Mamiya does. Because I think there was a point where we were smashing pots, and he's like, back to smashing pots again, are we? You know, he knows that happens all through the game, and it was happening in the last game almost too much, right, to collect the silver. He just comments on it and basically takes the piss out of itself, which I really appreciate.
I really like that too. I really like that. But that's one thing that you guys want to really benefit from, is the fact that the later you go into this, you're going to find bosses that are very unique. They got their own characters, they've got their own dodge patterns, and that's something that I've been really finding a lot of enjoyment in. And that also brings me on to wanting to discuss the combat. So you were saying about the differences in the first game and this last game, and this is for both of you now. How are you finding these differences? Do you think it's mostly to do with the story and how it's told, or do you think it is told through combat?
I think it's definitely told through story mainly, because that's the kind of game it is, narrative-driven game. But the combat has 100% evolved from the prior game in a massive way, and I can't even really explain how, because it's kind of the same thing, but just more fun, and you could be more creative. And I'm playing this game in a very parry-heavy way. I picked the parry shield.
Third strike, then.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I tried to ask you this question before the show, and you boys told me off. So I'll ask you it now.
Well, we're recording now. It's content. Come
Exactly.
on.
Yeah.
I know Davey's choice, and it's the same as mine. So I'll ask you. There's a point at the start where you get to pick a shield.
Yeah.
One that blocks all attacks, or one that's better for parrying. I chose to parry, because that's my kind of playstyle. I love parries. Which one did you choose?
Well, clearly you already know before you asked me. I just went for the extra armor.
Did you?
I did, yes.
Oh.
I'm definitely more survivalist when it comes to God of War, because I played the original game, I think, quite differently to how you guys played it.
Wrong.
You class it as wrong, but I still completed it and still had a great time, right? And
Exactly,
still class
yeah.
it as not one of my favourite games, but a very good game, okay? But the way I played it more that Kratos was the supporting character. So he would almost sit back and let Atreus tank the monsters, and I would sit back throwing the axe in when I needed to. You know, Atreus seemed to level.
You got it, boy!
Level enough where he could tank the monsters and hold the monsters, and I don't feel like this new game you can do that so much. I feel like this game they're much more, I suppose, equal in the way that I'm playing. Even though I send Atreus straight in, right, and I'm hammering that square, I still feel like the mobs won't just lock onto him and fight him like they used to, and you could just sit back, sip a beer, whatever you were doing, play on your phone a little bit, chuck the axe in. In this one, you got to be careful, because they come in for you, right? They jump on you all the time, and if you're not looking, your health depreciates so fast in this game.
Oh, God.
You are
God.
dead super fast. Yeah. And I've gone for armor.
Yeah.
But you lose it so fast in this game.
That's another question I was kind of going to bring up. I wanted to just ask you boys, in your time so far, you boys have obviously spent a lot more time than I have. How many times have you died so far on your adventure?
Oh. Well, I think this kind of carries over to a difficulty conversation as well. So, with the first game, I'll get this out just for context. It's publicly known, I've admitted to it quite a few times, that I played that game on normal, and then when I fought the Valkyrie Queen, Sigrun, at the end, I put it right down to easy because I was getting bodied.
Pussy mode, please.
Absolutely. I was getting absolutely rinsed. This game, I started off on normal because I thought, right, well, I'm a god. I don't want to be dealing with...
Well, you meant
bitch-ass
yourself
enemies.
then, not Kratos.
No, well, I am. Well, I'm not...
My opinion of yourself, obviously.
yeah,
right?
of course.
Yeah,
But
here
you've
we
got to
go.
have confidence, right?
Facts
So,
are.
Gokwan always says it's all about the confidence.
It is all about the confidence.
So anyway, I started off and I thought I'll put it on normal because Kratos is a god. He shouldn't have to struggle with basic bitch enemies.
Nope.
That's what I had on my first ever playthrough of the game. So I went in with that. And after about 3 hours, I was left feeling like I'm underserving the combat potential this game has. And so I put on my big boy shoots, pulled up my pants,
Shoots.
and done. Put it up to no mercy mode, which is
Jesus.
the one under highest.
Okay.
And I gotta say, guys, the best decision
Marked improvement.
I have ever
Right,
made.
okay.
Wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
It turns it, and this is something that the more you go, the deeper you'll appreciate this. I thought I had this game figured out by, say, hour 6. Even at hour 25 now, there's new things that I'm getting a deeper understanding. I'm learning more about the combat system. I'm getting better at it. I can notice myself. Not just with parries. Parries are basic boy bitch stuff. But in terms of how you maximize damage. Because now on this game, what they've done is, because you've got the opportunity to start off with both weapons, both the Leviathan Axe and the
Blades of
Chaos, and your fists.
Your mitts.
Your mitts. Your absolute duffers. You've got the ability then to be able to have the hot and the cold.
Yeah.
And when somebody's frozen over, the sword does more damage to the Blaze of Chaos. When they're heated up,
Yeah. When it's the
axe
opposite.
does.
Yeah.
So it's all about using
Switching
all
them.
your arsenal in tandem. And when you get the harder difficulties, 2 hits, you're gone. You are toast.
you make
Yeah.
a mistake, you dead.
So you basically need to play shit hot. Every enemy's a threat, but you deal the same amount of damage, or it feels like you would, as normal. So you still deal with them really fast. You feel really powerful,
Yeah.
but if you play like a twat,
You're
you're
frail.
done. You're
Yeah.
done. Yeah, you just there's no like.
You're basically a glass cannon.
You are, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that because it means your parries have to be on point. You have to know and understand the combat system to a much greater level than you would do if you were playing on normal. And I'm finding that so enjoyable for me.
See, I'm still on normal. And I don't feel like this appeals to me maybe on the first time I'm playing this game.
That's fair
Because
enough.
I'm not as big a fan as you guys. I haven't played every single God of War game that you've played, Davey. I think I've only played maybe 1 or 2 in the past. But I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying looking around and the exploration, collecting all the, items and upgrading armor and things. And I think with the combat in normal, it is challenging enough. But I can definitely see that potential this game has of almost a little bit like a fighting game. Probably not to those levels, obviously. But there is a lot more, as I said, potential there
Yeah.
to learn that combat, to master it, and to step up to those harder levels. The question I've got is any of those sort of difficulty settings attached to trophies, and is this the real reason you're doing it?
No.
Because sometimes when you talk to me and you're like, oh, I've just done this weird thing that, Phil, I didn't even think about doing. Generally, it's attached to trophies.
Yeah.
There's some ulterior motive in it that's almost making you sound better at the game than I am, but actually I wouldn't have done it because I'm not really bothered too much about trophies. Is there any trophies that attach to difficulty in it?
No. This is the one good thing I'm quite grateful for, is that no, not at all. It is literally just a case of whatever you feel makes the game feel right. And this is going to be an individual thing. There's going to be those of you that think, do you know what? I'm quite happy I'm being challenged enough as I am. And that's fine. Enjoy normal. I think for somebody who loves the Souls kind of level of combat and enjoys that kind of challenge that's in there, this to me feels like a more refined version of Souls in a lot of different ways.
Wow.
The combat is very, very similar.
So would you
in
say
terms
you
of
would
blocks,
focus-
parries? It does. You could say that, but it actually is, Spence, especially when you get to fight some actual bosses later on. There's not much difference. You got to time your dodges. You got to time your blocks. You got to know which moves you can duck under, which ones you can't. It gets very, very like that. It gets a lot
more
like that.
refined.
I would say so. You're saying to me that the Souls isn't the most janky fucking experience.
It's jank as shit, but that's like the intended combat.
Yeah, this is a more clean cut version of that. Not exactly the most creative version of that. I think that Souls does the hardcore, we're gonna fuck you over because we got a move that you only can learn by dying 500 times against.
Yeah, but that's fun. that's the beauty of it.
It doesn't have that. But it's very much a case of it's a AAA version of what FromSoft could develop.
If you had two of them in a vote, though, which one would you vote for? Which one would be the game that you would vote over the other for the combat?
So you're talking about an Elden Ring versus a God of War situation?
Potentially, that's what I'm hinting at.
Well, I think we'll save that till later on in the show.
Okay, maybe.
Say it on the fence. I know.
I kind of have to, really.
But I think it's very much. Some people could say that God of War is like an Elden Ring light. I would actually see it as more the other way around. That you've got the Elden Ring is more of it's very purist, but it's not AAA in the way that its combat feels. I think that's totally fair. Enemies don't react to when you hit them. There's no real there's nothing like that. It's more of a case of it's Dark Souls combat, which is fantastic, and it decks you in. Whereas this feels like this is solely AAA money being put on this.
The only issue I have with that, right, is that in God of War you're limited to 2 weapon types, and that's your frost axe and your fire blades and your fists, I suppose.
Potentially, there's more. In
Souls and Elden Ring, you exclusively use the fattest weapon you can find that kills any boss in 2 hits.
I do, yeah.
Exclusively.
I do, yeah.
And you've told me you've tried to play the game other ways, and you never change.
Yeah. That's true. It's definitely
maybe if you experimented with the Souls formula, you might think, oh, actually, this combat's quite nuanced. Instead of duff, I win.
I think that's a really good point, to be fair.
But you are always playing with the most powered up weapons in God of War. You're not going in with a level 1 axe, are you? No. You're going in with an upgraded hilt. You're going in with the attachments. You're going in with the better armor.
Exactly right.
There we go. I'm trying to help you out here. I agree with Spencer, but I'm trying to help you out a little bit.
I agree with Spencer. I think that's a really good point, to be fair. Like, you're right. I go in there full strength build. I got my big daddy monster meat boy sword.
6 buffs as you enter the arena. Every magic buff you could possibly use.
Yeah. And then it's over in 30 seconds. If it goes longer than 30 seconds, I've failed.
You've lost.
I've failed. And I've lost, yeah. So I think that is very true. I may not have the fully rounded experience on this, but all I know is that for it to be remotely in the conversation as something as, say, an Elden Ring or Dark Souls, in terms of that level of combat enjoyment, is a huge step up from where it was back on 2018 God of War. Which, you're right, it was very mashy, challenging, sure, but it was repetitive. It was quite boring, and you didn't get the Blades of Chaos until quite late into that adventure.
No, very late.
Yeah, but it made sense in the story, though, right?
It did make sense, yeah. But it also didn't give that variety that you've got now, where now you can use the 2 in tandem, power them up. You don't get hit. There's a lot of different ways that skill tree works. Guys, I'm frothing at the gash for this. I honestly, I cannot say a bad thing about this at all. The only thing I've got bad to say is a very, very minor, but I'm going to hand it over to you guys. So I've been chatting my absolute.
I was going to say, this has been the longest way to not tell people how many times you've died in a video game.
Oh, yeah.
That was the question.
I died countless times.
Countless times. Is this because you hired up the difficulty, or did you die countless times in medium?
No, I didn't really. I died a couple of times in medium, but nothing crazy. I died a couple of times in medium. When you go to very early on, so it's spoiler, you go to Swarfheim, the first main area. And you got those little lizard things that come out.
I hate
from
those.
the ground.
Yeah.
They're the most annoying new enemy types because they weren't in the first one, right?
No,
they
and
they're
really
annoying.
to try and teach you how to be able to manage your threats around you, how to use
several
threat
opponents
ring,
at once.
How to be able to use a lock-on system. And so I was like, this lock-on system is not working for me. I'm going to try all the different types of lock-on. I'm going to try the assisted lock-on. I'm going to try all these different lock-ons. And ultimately, all it meant was, just fucking get good on judging that ring and moving the camera and use the classic lock-on. It was so much easier than anything else.
And pay attention to Mamiya.
Oh, yeah.
He helps you
He's
so
behind
much.
you, Kratos.
On your left.
On your left, laddie. That little ball bag's coming up on your right. And so I was like, yeah, all right, okay, yeah.
We're not even in the impression trend, guys.
No.
Look at that double money round here. You get impressions in what are we playing?
What you say? Oh, it's madness. But no, I died loads. I died quite a few times there, and then when I got used to that, and I realised that the lock-on system was kind of my biggest flaw with the game, and I kind of overcame that and got used to it, I then hired it up. And then since I've hired it up, most bosses I died on at least once.
Yeah.
A lot of them, the one I died on for 4 hours straight.
Wow.
4 hours straight.
Speaking of Dark Souls.
And I could have come back. I could have done the same thing as Elden Ring in terms of being like, I can come back here later and stomp this. But no. I'm committed.
I really want to know what boss that was.
And that's why it gives me that Elden Ring feeling. In a way of being like, no, I will man up. I will overcome this. Yes. It's not the fact that the boss, I'm not doing any damage to it.
Bad worker blames his tools.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's just get good, get better, learn the attacks, learn the rolls. And that's where I've had this moment where I'm 25 hours in, and I'm sure that if somebody mainlined this, they're probably way further ahead than me in probably 5 or 6 hours.
Completed at 35, can't you?
Yeah.
I think mainline.
Apparently, and I'm nowhere near the end. I'm nowhere near the end. I don't know how far I am. I guess halfway. But yeah, I've died countless times. Countless. I couldn't even begin to tell you. Sorry I've taken such a long explanation, but I'm very excited, as you can tell, to talk about this game with you guys. I absolutely adore it.
And you guys laughed at me when I died continuously to the Last of Us 2
Rat
boss.
King.
I died quite a lot to the Rat King. And that was hilarious to you guys, but 20 deaths. My God, man.
At least on one guy. At least 20 deaths.
You're going to have to tell me off air because I really want to know what the boss that was. And I'm hoping it was the one that I maybe struggled with, that I died quite a lot on.
Ooh, I don't know. If you're talking about in... Save it. No,
They've already skipped 5 minutes ahead after as soon as you said that.
Nah, I'll tell you later on. I'll tell you off air.
It's crazy. For me, I've literally only had... I think I've had one death.
What difficulty you played on?
Just normal.
Okay.
Normal, but I'm playing it very parry heavy, which is like I'm not using the shield unless I'm trying to parry. I refuse to use it. My mindset in combat is what I love to do. I exclusively use the Blades of Chaos for those little rats you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because it wipes them out.
Yeah.
Wipes them out. Other than that, I barely use the Blades of Chaos.
Not even with the frogs? The frogs that attack you,
Sometimes.
you need the Blades of Chaos. I believe. You're at the frog.
Yeah, I've been there,
Yeah.
But what I love... yeah.
Stressful.
Please.
It's really
keep
difficult, this conversation. Go on.
What I love to do in my playstyle at the minute is just toss the axe and then fists. Fists in, because there's the thing.
Barry going straight
Enemies have health and then it's like a stagger meter, don't they? When a stagger meter is full, you get that finishing move. And so I just punch them, duff them in the air, get a tracer, shoot a few shots, and then I just hit them with the R3. And I love that. And then maybe I'll recall the axe if like Mamiya's telling me, yo, on your left. And I'll be like, oh,
you would love the armor I got at the moment. The armor I got at the moment is all about using your fists.
I love it.
Creates poison damage.
Okay.
And
how would you say poison?
Poison
Damage.
Oh yeah,
poison damage.
It's for dramatic.
Come on.
Gets his own impressions.
Anyway, hurry up.
I could hurry up. I very much could. Again, I'm only like 6 hours in mind. I've only experienced very few bosses and enemies.
You're one of those people should hurry up, 100%, because you got that experience doing that type of game. You'd love it. Phil, I reckon you should stay on normal.
I think I'm fine with normal. I'm really 100%. Enjoying it for what it is. I can't think back to too many times where I've died outside that one boss, but that was more to do with him actually challenging me more than challenging Atreus, right? Because I was sending Atreus in a little bit with that one. I thought, I've got this one. I'm going to go back to the old school. I'm going to throw Atreus in. I'm going to stay back. And then he started charging me and shooting me from afar. And I was like, yeah, I've died a few times on that. But I overcome him. And it wasn't 20 times. It was more like 4 or 5, just for the listeners, for the viewers. So I'm doing all right on medium, but I don't feel like I need any harder at the moment. I might do on a second playthrough if I get that far. But for the time being, I think I'm sticking with normal. I'm enjoying it for what it is.
And guys, I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to go into any spoilers here, but there's still so much more we could talk about here when it comes to God of War. So I want to keep this very kind of short and sweet, but I want to know, when we're looking at the game so far, for your play time,
Not a lot.
how would you rate the game?
How would I rate the game?
Yeah. Based on, we've played games that have been 6 hours long. Think of Stray. You think of Sifu, for example, if you're cracked that game.
Incredible.
I don't even know. That was literally my watch just playing that. There wasn't even someone phoning me. That's my actual ringtone, but just my watch just decided
That's so weird.
it's getting too close to spoiler territory.
It is, yeah. Thank you, Watch, by the way.
Yeah, it's like,
Thank
we're going to play the X-Men tone and re-break up this podcast. Right, sorry.
Thank you, Watch.
Right, I'll go back and we'll start the bit again. So, guys, we could talk about God of War till the cows come home, and I'm very, very conscious that the things I want to really discuss with you,
Right.
Spence in there yet.
No, we're gonna have to wait, aren't we?
So we're gonna have to wait.
Thank
And
you.
I think what's probably going to be easier is we're probably not saying this for definite. We'll probably have all wrapped this up within a month, I imagine.
Yeah.
We've got to before Callisto.
Yes, we have 2 weeks.
That's the aim.
We have
for it.
2 weeks.
That's the podcast aim. to
All
do.
right.
Yes.
I know we're terrible when we say we're going to do something by a certain date because it never happens.
I haven't
right?
finished
but
halfway
I think
through.
we should break the curse. I think we need to change this, right?
Okay.
For our viewers, for our listeners, for ourselves, right? We need to get this done in the bag before Callisto comes out because we can't be juggling the two.
Okay, deal. So what we'll do then, we're going to park the God of War conversation for there, and we're going to pick that up then when we talk about it in a full spoiler-free conversation where we can go as in-depth as we want. We can spend 2 odd hours on it, really just unpack it and just fanboy out. We'll say that will be coming up shortly. Really make sure to keep an eye on our Twitter, @PS We Trust. We will be posting it on there, as well as on all our socials, to be able to get the idea of when it's going to go on, because we don't have a clue yet. But I do want to ask you guys, on the limited playthrough that you've had so far, what is your rating?
Jeez.
Spence, I'm going to come with you. We're going to go from lowest to highest.
Yeah.
In terms of play hours. Tough one.
It's hard. It really is hard because we haven't got very far in this game.
No, I don't think we have.
Excuse me.
I got to think, the thing is as well, I didn't enjoy the first game as much as so many other people did.
What did you rate the first game?
Probably a 7 or an 8. Like,
Better than Metal Gear.
7.5.
Better than Metal Gear.
It was.
Most games are, I
It
suppose.
was a Metal Gear, yeah. It was. So was Marquette.
Jesus.
For this game, I'll tell you what, boys, I think it's so much better than the original game. I really do. I'm trying not to. My head is telling me it's a 10 out of 10 already.
Oh my
But I'm
God.
not even far.
Jesus.
6 hours in.
6 hours in.
6 hours
10
in.
out of 10.
That's how much I was. That's
The
6
start's
hours.
great, but we'll get on to me in a sec. Go
That
on.
6
You have your
hours
bit.
was one playthrough, and I only wanted to play it for like an hour. And I physically couldn't put the pad down.
Wow.
I couldn't. I was
Okay.
in love with it.
Okay.
So for me right now, I think it's probably not 10, because there are very few 10s in existence, Last of Us.
I don't know.
Metal Gear.
I think it's quite
Dead
good.
Island Riptide.
Half-Life.
Yeah, Half-Life, Metal Gear.
But-
Death Stranding.
It's either going to be like a high 9, or like, it can't be a low 10, it's impossible, but it's like barely a 10.
I know what you mean, though. I know.
Yeah.
You mean. It scrapes it, but it ain't.
It
Up
might
there.
be like, well, the Metascore is 94, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bang on. 9.4.
So one of the best games of all time, but not
Easily
quite
one of
in
the best
top,
games.
Top echelon.
It's not beating Last of Us. Not
No.
for me, personally.
No.
You're talking on personal, though. You shouldn't be weighing it up against, like, the greater view of video games here. It's just what what is left for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel? 9.4.
9.4, yeah,
personally.
genuinely. I
We
feel
do
that. I'd
not
like to put it
do
higher.
we do not do a 20-point scale on this podcast. I think we've had this a few times.
Well, then-
It's always
you
Spence,
guys,
isn't it?
it's always
It's always me,
Spence.
it's always me.
We can just say things like a low 9. You can say a low 10 if you want. We still know a difference.
No, because the low 10's,
It's still a 10.
it's got to be a high
Still
9.
10.
It can't
Still
be a
10
low
in my
10.
mind.
Yeah.
A low 10 still 10.
Yeah, but at least if it was up against Last of Us, Last of Us is winning, right?
Last of Us slaps, yeah. I'll give it a 9, because the thing is, 9.4,
Okay, 9.
you round up from 5 and above, so I'll round down. Give it a 9.
So Spence coming in for a low 9. That's not bad, especially when you're considering how you fared on the first game.
Yeah.
Mr. Hoy, how you feeling? What's your rating 15 odd hours in?
This one, I think, is a difficult one. for me, personally, purely because I'm not looking at it with the same rose-tinted glasses that you are of God of War, because you're a fan of the series.
I am a fan.
And in my mind, this game is coming up against Horizon, a game that I absolutely love and hold in high regard, and I've rated it very highly on the podcast. Now, do I feel like God of War has surpassed it? In some ways, yes. But has it surpassed it in all aspects? I'm not so sure. And I think we'll probably talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the Game of the Year discussion, because there's lots of categories there where I feel like different games there are stronger in different areas.
Yeah,
we'll leave that conversation for now.
I can see that.
Now my rating. Where do I place it?
I've put it quite high.
Spencer has put it quite high. 9 is high for me, I would say. I think I would probably go along the same sort of lines as where I rated Horizon. And I think I'd put it at an 8 for now.
It's bullshit.
And we'll see where this conversation goes when we pick back up on it in a couple of weeks. Because I am loving it, but I was loving Horizon. And there's lots of Horizon that I love more than God of War. But I don't know if there's more God of War that I love over Horizon yet. I'm still weighing those two up.
I get you.
Okay,
I
that's
get you.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
For me, guys,
10 out of 10.
it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first God of War was a game that comes once in a generation. It was a game that was exceptional. It completely revolutionized what Sony's mascot could be. To have a mascot which was basically just, I'm angry and I'm going to kill stuff, to then go into somebody that's a father figure and to telling an emotional story over that first game was a big step, a big deal, and it changed quite a lot.
Layers. Complete layers.
Absolutely.
See, a lot of people weren't happy with that decision though. A lot of people said they Last of Us Kratos.
Oh, that's just such a dumbass opinion. Such a dumbass take. That's someone who's like, I don't know, they just live on Reddit all the time, you know? Like, come on, get a grip.
Ellie and Atreus, there is some similarities there, isn't there?
There's a few.
And he likes her bow.
She does like her bow, yeah. She just likes killing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say, Atreus ain't exactly there. Anyway, moving on from that. I think it's a 10. I think when you have a game that I originally rated as a 10, and it does, which is God of War 2018, and it does everything better. There's not one part of this game that is done worse than the original. Like you said in your opening, I'm pretty sure you said this. It's done, every single thing is taken up to the next level.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
I can agree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying with my lower kind of score here that Horizon definitely did certain aspects better for me personally, because I'm just trying to take off those glasses a little bit.
I think what we'll have to do is, when we get towards the end of the podcast, we'll have a good discussion about this.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. I think that's something to hang around for, listeners, if you're not already. But as of right now, let's move on to the quick news. Quick news.
Okay, guys, you have made it to the quick news. Congratulations, you've made it past the first part of the show. You on the main camera, you on the second camera. You have made it through to quick news. Now, as our alumni, our dedicated followers know for the podcast, that we try to spice the quick news up a little bit. We have a couple of impressions that go around. Spencer obviously hates them.
I do.
I relish a little bit of the time, and Davey just loves the attention.
I love it.
So we're going to do the same again, and this time round, in honour of the Game Awards, we're going to do impressions of the nominees' games. So you can pick anything from a nominees' game. So, for example, I might say God of War for Spencer. He might just have to do an impression of Kratos, right? It's as simple as that. But for the first one, let's spice it up. Now, Davey, I know you love cats.
I knew.
You love the pussy.
I do, I love it.
So let's see your impression of the cat. I don't even know if it's got a name.
Murtaugh.
From Stray.
Okay, ready?
Here we go. Stage is set.
You go this way. And what cats do is they do this a lot. Yes, I'm not going to move out of my seat, but they do this. They twist a lot, and they eventually go.
Oh, why are we local, man?
Why was it
And
him
they
rather
could
than
show-
me?
And you.
Guys, I'm giving out the points on this.
And then
That is some ethereal being.
that's what my cat sounds like. Quick news. That is actually what Eddie, the boy Eddie, sounds like. And speaking of the boy, Kevin Conroy, the legendary voice of Batman in Batman the Animated Series and of course in the Arkham games, has unfortunately passed away, guys, at the age of 66.
Sad times, man.
That's sad.
We've lost a legend too soon. It's something that I don't know about you guys, but Batman the Animated Series was something I really grew up with. That was like one of those cartoons, same as like Street Sharks or
Street Sharks,
Captain
Toxic
Planet.
Crusaders.
All
It was
these.
all around that time, wasn't it?
It was. And Batman the Animated Series was a show which just has ascended beyond just being a normal cartoon.
It's awesome as well. It stands up today.
It's amazing.
I've rewatched it multiple times. It's incredible.
It really is. And so, Kevin, you really did have a special place in my heart, and you always will. R.I.P. Kevin. To Kevin.
To Kevin.
Now, Phil, I think on that somber note, it's time to pass it to you because I think you got some bad news as well.
Bad news. Here we go.
You do have some bad news. Now,
Christ.
in terms of who am I going to give you? I'm going to give you. There was a game that got nominated that I was.
Have I played this game?
You haven't. But I'm going to throw you a bone.
Right, yeah.
A Plague Tale.
Oh, I know what you're gonna do.
I haven't even played.
You gave me a cat.
I know exactly.
You've played the game. You own a cat.
No,
You
trust
love
me,
cats.
you're fine. You're fine.
This is all about rats. Give me your best impression of a rat. You dirty, stinking fucking rat.
During the bubonic plague.
Does the rat talk?
We haven't played it.
No, I've played the
Twitch
first
from
game.
leagues.
You played the first game.
Yeah, they're just rats.
It's just a rat.
Just rats.
Give me
They
a
like
rat.
they're in hordes and they're afraid of the light.
I can give you Twitch from League of Legends. Snaky. That was a great impression of him. So,
What's a good impression of him?
but
However,
you want a rat's impression.
I want
just a rat, mate.
Just rat. Just give me a rat.
Just be yourself. You rat.
Bring back Potato Chief. A rat's impression.
Just an impression of a rat.
Okay, well, for your cat impression, you nudged it in a very affectionate way. I kind of feel like a rat would be. A little bit more. Snaky. Quick news. So, guys, I have heard that Prince of Persia isn't dead. It's coming back, and it's going to come back with a bang. Last thing we heard, that the art director, he walked out. He left the project, but it's still on track. And I just want to assure you, you need to stick with this franchise because there's been some incredible games in the past,
There has been.
and it is going to come back. So fingers crossed. And as soon as I hear any more news, I'll be the first to report it here on Quick News. Now, Spencer, coming across to yourself. Now, there's many games nominated throughout this award show.
Hang on, wait. It's always you passing to me. It's always you passing to me. I'm sick of this. I can hit you now. We're local. I can jump over this table.
I was going to give you a very easy one to do, but I was thinking more of Gran Turismo because your Ferrari was very Ferrari.
For Wowie is for Wowsy.
Your Ferrari was for Wow. It was very good, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to give you something very simplistic. Okay, so I know you've only played the 6 hours.
Oh, God of War.
But I just want your Atreus.
I hate when he
specified
speaks.
it. He specified
That's
it.
it.
as well.
Atreus from God of War.
He's just an angsty teen, man.
Yeah, you can relate. It's only a few years ago.
I was never angsty.
Yeah, he was.
And he used to carry around a bow and arrow, didn't
He
you?
did.
I wish. I
I'm
wish I had a
gonna
bow
go
and
out
arrow.
hunting.
I'd have loved to have a bow and
I'm
arrow.
gonna shoot that robin you love in the garden.
I was never allowed to. What's he? Oh, I know what he says. Okay, my Atreus. Stop thinking like a father and be a general. He said something like that, didn't he? That was towards the start of the game. No
It was
spoilers.
just your voice, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm an angsty teen. I'm only 12. Quick news. So as always, I deliver the PS Extra and Premium titles of the month. Same thing again. I'm going to do the exact same thing, listeners and watchers. So I hope you are ready. This time, for Extra, we have Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition for PS4 and PS5.
Again? More Who needs more Skyrim?
I got told off the other night, by the way, for not liking Skyrim. Someone was like, "You don't like Skyrim."
What, you don't like Skyrim though?
No, it's terrible.
What?
We've all liked it at a
The
certain point,
combat
haven't
is
we?
gash.
Yeah, but it's still good though.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Fallout 3 came out so much sooner and it was so much better.
haven't played Fallout 3.
Ah, see, that's criminal.
That is bad.
All right, moving on, because there's a lot of games. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege for PS4 and PS5. I'm sure we can play that, boys. That'd be a great time.
That'd be
not
good.
bad.
That'd be fun.
Good game.
Yeah. Hope you guys like Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix for the PS4 and Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. How is it the final chapter yet a prologue for the PS4? Don't know how that happens. And Kingdom Hearts 3 for the PS4 and Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory for the PS4. God damn, that is like 150 hours of Kingdom Hearts. If you can stomach it and you like Disney that much, good on you. It's not for me. Next, we have Oddworld Soulstorm Enhanced Edition. Phil was a big fan of this game when it came out for the PS4 and PS5. Then we have Tom Clancy's The Division 2 for the PS4. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint for the PS4. Never heard of that, actually. Chorus for the PS4 and PS5. What Remains of Edith Finch for the PS4 and PS5. And, annoyingly, I bought this game, yet I never played it. The Gardens Between for the PS4 and PS5 is free this month, which is annoying because I could have bought it.
They are scraping the barrel for games right here, aren't they?
That won many awards, I'll have you know.
Oh, God.
Many awards.
And does any of that appeal to you?
100%.
What, Disney?
No. Skipping that aside, I remember we did a Shag, Marry, Kill quite a while ago now, probably about maybe 6 months ago, and I spoke about a game called I was calling it Chorus at the time. I think it's called Chorverse or something.
What's like the beer?
The game that literally Spence just brought up then, and it's literally, here it is.
Chorus.
Chorus. PS4, PS5, and it's basically like a twin stick shooter.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like it's kind of like Pixel Junk, not Pixel.
You mean Stardust HD?
Kind of like Stardust HD and Pixel.
Yeah.
Pixel. Have you ever played Pixel Jump Shooter?
I think we're talking about this game, same game here. Yeah.
Yeah. So the same kind of thing. It's just that, but.
Okay.
But it looked like, when we saw a trailer for it, I think it was like an enhanced edition or whatever it was, it looked epic. And then when I realised it came out years ago, I was like, oh, how did this game slip past me, right? I just missed it. So seeing that there, I've already put that on download. That's already in my basket right now. For the Kingdom Hearts games, I've played Kingdom Hearts 1. It just didn't grab me after 8 hours. I think 8 hours is enough to put into a game to realise if you like it or not. And it just did not grab me. And at that point, I checked out and I realised it just ain't for me. And so Kingdom Hearts is a huge fan base for it. They're rabid for information. For those people that'll be really happy with this, it ain't for me. I don't know about you guys though.
Nothing really there that appeals to me too much in particular. Nothing that really stands out. It's a bunch of indie Tom Clancy games and Disney games, really. I think I've still made the right choice, There's nothing that's making me upgrade on that list, unfortunately.
Yeah, for me, I used to be quite a big fan of Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts 2 is really good. I still stand by that, really good. And then there was Kingdom Hearts 2.5, 1.5, 365 Days, Dream Drop Distance. I'm sure there's like 12 more. There's Kingdom Hearts 3.
Titles,
They're all real.
They're all real.
I mean, it's just too much. And every single one of these games is like 50 hours, man, for a Disney game. No.
It's too much.
No, but we also have, that was the extra games, boys.
Okay,
There are some more games for the premium members. And these are
extra
the
spice.
classics.
Bring it on.
I hope you boys are fans of Ratchet and Clank, which, to be fair, I know you are. I know you are.
I definitely am.
You get Ratchet and Clank for the PS3.
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando.
Nice.
Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal.
What are the
Ratchet and
best?
Clank Deadlocked. And Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction. Only Ratchet and Clank for the classics this month, but can you really complain?
Well, it was the 20th anniversary, wasn't it?
It was,
This is why they had that
Bit of a
celebration. They
celebration,
said
right?
it was going to come to it. Would I like to see some more classics? Maybe we just had God of War out. Would I like to see some of the God of War games come to this?
I'd love
Yes.
that. I'd love that with
Yes,
trophies.
I would.
God.
Well, this is the thing. They came out for PS3 as like a remastered collection, and they came to Vita as well.
I know I was going to buy it, yeah.
For God of War 1 and 2. You can get them on PS4 and PS5 now. This would be make a perfect time. Maybe that's next month. Maybe.
Possibly.
If it does well in the
Delayed
game,
as
yeah,
such.
like
Yeah.
if it does well in the Game Awards kind of thing, they could say,
That makes sense.
oh, God of War.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy for Ratchet and Clank though.
See, that's the thing as well. I kind of need to ask this. Do you think they had Ratchet and Clank ready to go at launch for PS Premium, but they held off for the 20th anniversary?
Yeah. I think you got to think about the fact that Sony have got such a huge catalogue of games. All this is running off the old PS Now subscription service, which all these games were on. I don't think anything here is a surprise apart from the PSP games, which weren't on there. The PSP and PS1,
We've
PS2.
had like 4 of those, yeah.
Yeah. So apart from that, I think everything else was good to go. They could just cook it on and put it on here straight away. But you don't want to flood it all. You want to have a steady steam drop of content. It makes sense. Is it the best way to do it? No. It makes sense.
They all know they'll have years planned out, right? It's
Yeah.
a new service. They had to get the board to agree to it. So they must have shown some sort of timeline of where they're going to release and what they're going to release. And having the big celebration for Ratchet and Clank, you know, like it's the obvious time to bring those games to this service. You know, for me, I already own them, right? I love the series. But for the guys that maybe, you know, dipped in and out and may have missed one or two, this is a perfect time to be playing them because they're incredible games.
Yeah. See that 100%.
Fair enough. All right, so moving on, boys. I'm passing it over to you now, Davey. And I'm going to kind of stick with Phil's theme. I mean, the theme is literally giving you nominations. However, I'm going to stick with the same game.
Ouch.
Okay.
Same game.
I'm just thinking how many people he's actually encountered in 6 hours. Yeah, you're going to be fine.
I'm going to do you really nice, yeah? Very nice.
Okay.
Because it's an impression we actually heard earlier in the show. Mamma Mia.
Oh,
Mamma Mia.
it was good though.
It was good.
You're giving him it.
Exactly.
You're giving him.
But you can't make it up. Quote.
Quote. Okay.
You can't look it up.
Okay, that's fine. I don't need to. I'm looking at my next news story. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you a double whammer as well.
Double whammer.
I'm going to give you so they're back on the boat, the sled, wherever they go in. And
Slad, don't give it away.
he was on the start of the game. Come on.
Oh,
He was on the start of the game. Right.
This gets awkward.
Start a
this.
spoiler. And he's like,
Fucking bastard.
Mimir, tell me. Tell me the story of Thor with the Giants. Well now, Kratos, let me tell you about Thor and the legends. So when Thor first travelled to Jötunheim, he came in like a furious god, spiteful full of rage. And he smited down the Jötunheim one by one. And legend says there's nobody left.
Got a bit Welsh then.
Hey. But you fought him, haven't you? I have. He's a ball bag. Quick news.
Feel like you practice that in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's Kratos especially, yeah.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 is anticipated for summer 2023. That's not the big news here. The big news is that this game is console exclusive for 6 months. After that 6 months, the rumour with this, and I know I'm putting this in quick news, but come on now. Grab me a little bit with this. The rumour is it's going to PC after 6 months, and then after that, Xbox at an undetermined date. So it's going to be like a Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 7 remake kind of
interesting.
integrated
Still
situation.
isn't on Xbox, but yeah.
Still isn't on Xbox. As we know, Xbox, they don't buy those kind of games anyway. They wait for them on Game Pass. And that's why Square have been saying. So yeah, so wait for it, guys. If you're waiting for FF16, you're waiting for PC, 6 months ain't a huge ask.
No.
I don't think.
Not at
so
all.
you can hold off. If you're on Xbox, maybe consider buying it on PC.
Get a PS5.
Yeah, and I don't know why you listen to a PlayStation podcast anyway, to be fair, but here we are. So
Well, they should be. So they know what
well,
good
they
games
should.
is about, right?
They
Come
should,
on.
they
Come
should.
on.
Mr. Philippoy, coming across to you.
Let's go.
We've had loads of nice impressions. The game that's been missed out from these is, of course, Horizon Forbidden West. Again,
I thought you were going to say Elden Ring.
No,
I was like, yeah, cheers,
I'm not
mate.
going to screw you over.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
That's
screw
for
you over
me,
with
I
that.
bet.
I want to hear your impression of Aloy. Let's go in hard. Let's go in with
I've
Aloy.
done Aloy before. I didn't know what to say.
You love
Oh,
chucking
yeah.
girls at him. So
Yeah.
let's chuck you at
Yeah.
Let's chuck you at
You have
Aloy.
done Halo before, I forgot.
An Aloy impression.
Do you remember the critique we gave you before, what you could have said? Do you remember?
No.
You don't?
Give it me now.
Oh.
Maybe give me
I don't know
half a
what it
point
was.
if I get it right.
The one thing you said, because
Yeah.
I didn't even play the game, but
Yeah.
you said, and I immediately was like, yes. Because I played like 15 hours there.
Oh, do you know?
can't fit that in my bag.
Yeah, the stash.
Yeah.
Stash.
Can't fit that in my stash.
It's very difficult, isn't it?
Yes.
It is really
Yes.
difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. Girl's voice is very difficult.
Yes. Thank you.
She talks about her stash all the way through. And is she talking about something related to drugs or is she talking about something else? We don't
Something
know.
on her face,
but,
yeah.
but it very much sounds a little bit wrong when she's saying that
Shove it up my stash.
there's too much in my stash. I've got to take this back to my stash. You know, like, girl's voice is very,
Sounds like
very
Owen
bad.
Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Difficult.
very, very difficult.
Sounds like Owen
And for the-
Wilson on the podcast.
And for the rest of this podcast, we're going to be doing female impressions. quick news. So, guys, we've all been excited and hearing quite a lot, I suppose, about The Witcher. Highly anticipated update, next gen update. So, I've got a little bit of news for you. It is coming December 14th. And guess what, guys?
What?
It is free for everyone that owns the game. So, hallelujah! We're getting it, guys. Next gen update, Witcher. Let's fucking go. Okay, Spence. It's time for your impression.
Yes, my friend.
And I've been looking down the list of the most nominated games for the Game Awards.
Of course, yeah.
And I was looking for a female, but I don't find too many females in that list, right?
Thank God, yeah.
So I want to challenge you to something different. It's not going to be a vocal impression.
Oh.
It's going to be a physical impression.
I don't have my
right?
bed.
And we've got the camera set up there that'll capture your movements. And I'm thinking, what game has got the most fluid, the most dynamic, the most elegant movement? It's Sifu.
I was going to say
So
Wayne
I
Gretzky's,
want,
but yeah.
I want a combo from you. I want a Sifu combo from yourself. Don't hurt yourself. I know you're a bit of a gymnast, amateur gymnast.
Amateur.
I don't think you'd.
Amateur's the word.
I don't think you get angry at me for calling you amateur.
No,
on that
I
one.
mean,
amateur
no.
gymnast. You do a couple of flips and that. A couple of backwards rolls, a couple of frontwards rolls.
Don't mention the back roll. Don't mention the back roll.
Okay, he does
Never
a-
go back.
No,
Never
that's
go
the
back.
thing. Front roll, you'd think professional. Amateur is where the back roll comes
Yeah,
in.
it is. It lets you down.
But I think it's your time to shine. Let's have a 1, 2, 3. Let's have a couple of punches, maybe even a kick
I
if
know
you
the
can get
exact
your
combo.
leg up that high.
Will it help you if I sing this? Oh, oh,
Yeah, that's racist.
Everybody was a kung fu fighting. His games were fast as lightning.
Take the jumper off.
Expert
Unleash the Shawn Mendes.
Shawn Mendes.
Shawn Mendes.
Whenever he's gearing up for a big impression, he always takes clothes off.
Top off.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, you did in your pants. You know what I mean?
And now he's got a Shawn Mendes. Jesus.
About to be back. Alternate outfit. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
There was one time, what? The one
And the noises, we're gonna.
throughout the entirety of Seafood, I exclusively used one combo
Oh, that's so bad.
because it
Go
was
on.
bursted. So that's what I'm gonna do.
I know which combo it is as well.
It was ready. Are you ready for this? I don't know if the
Here we
camera's
go.
gonna pick up because the table's in the way of my leg. I gotta use my
We
leg.
can see it though.
Right, yeah, that's fine.
It's our reaction.
That's
Impressive.
it. Quick
I
news.
thought that was good.
One of my favorite series of all time, We Were Here. Their newest title, We Were Here Forever, is finally coming to PlayStation on the 31st of January 2023. Oh my god. But there is more. For the first time ever in a We Were Here title, they will be introducing crossplay between PlayStation and PC. Ugh.
That's the two you want, really, don't
That is 100% to you.
Because you could challenge someone that potentially could be a little bit more equipped with a mouse and keyboard.
Exactly. I mean, it's a puzzle game, so you don't need to be that flicky with your wrist. But yes,
It could help in certain
very much
situations.
so. Now the thing is, I already own this game on PC. Am I going to buy it again for the trophies? Fucking too right. Yes, I am.
Of course he is.
Fucking too right.
Check.
Davey, you and I have played We Were Here. We were
Yeah.
here together.
Yep.
And We Were Here 2. It's wrong order, but those are the 3 titles. And we've platinumed all 3 of those games.
You have.
Those were exceptional titles, except at one point in the one game We Were Here 2, where your directions during a maze were up. You said go up.
It means forward, man. We all know up means forward.
Yeah.
You
I know
literally,
that.
you said, okay, I won't say up, I won't say up. And then you said, okay, go left, forward, right, 2 o'clock. And then you started laughing, you went, and then go up.
I thought 2 o'clock would be a strange.
2 o'clock's fine, because you the way you're facing, they see your way you're facing, then you go 2 o'clock. And then you go forward, as you
works.
should go, but he says up. Made no sense. But
Up arrow, innit?
Yeah,
forward.
up arrow. Yeah,
Up forward.
I'm pretty
Up
sure when
arrow.
you look at most menus, it's up. Let's have a look in Wayne Gretzky's. Open that menu up, because it'll give you a diagram of the handset. And let's see if it says up
It might say forward.
or forward. It's going to say up, isn't it?
I hope it says up.
This might be a relatively long interlude here.
oh
While
my
I
god,
look
there's
that
so
up.
many controls. There's defense and offense, different controls.
Oh, we got to learn all these for tonight.
Ah, too much.
Press directional button, up, down, left, right.
Up, down, left, right.
It's up.
It's up.
Yeah. All cheats were always up. It was never forward.
Cheats. Yeah, you didn't move. if you were to move in a game, you don't say, "Oh, go up." Up is to say you're playing like GTA. Up would mean you go into the air,
Yes, yeah. In a 3D world, which
which
most
we
games
were
are.
playing.
Which
Yes,
we were.
I think that's a generational thing because in our games you could never go up.
Yeah.
It was always
Yeah, it
just
was.
forward.
Side to side,
yeah.
but then you just say forward anyway. Oh, but I digress. That is it. Right? Are you boys going to be getting this game on PS5? What do you think?
Probably not for me because I'm not so connected to the series such as yourself, and I know generally you guys like to party together, so I think I'll leave it to you two. It's a you two thing, I think.
I think it's definitely you and me thing.
Yeah.
I know that you're playing it through with your mate Dan at the moment, and I'm not at all jealous. Not at all. Very.
It's not a nice feeling, is
It
it?
haunts me.
Yeah.
It haunts me.
You have a PC. You could have bought it on PC, but you refuse to learn troubleshooting, what that word even means. I'm sure you don't know.
I don't know.
And just what drivers are.
I refuse.
What drivers did he need for his keyboard?
None.
I'm sure I need more than I need. This is the thing about drivers. You don't know what you need until you need them. And then when you need them, it's too late.
Technically true, but you shouldn't.
And then it's too late.
need.
And then they're there.
Right.
And it's like, oh, you need to update 36 drivers. And you think,
36?
36 drivers? That's more keys than I got on my keyboard. Wait a minute. No, it ain't.
It's definitely not.
I need to do more drivers than this.
The driver for each key.
A driver for each key. That's what it is. Anyway, yes, I will. Well, I won't be buying this. You'll be buying this, and I'll be game sharing this off you.
That's fair enough.
And
I
that's-
owe you that.
You do owe me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's how I'm going to enjoy playing this. Have I enjoyed playing the other 3 games at this point? Yes, I have. And from what I've seen in their improvement for each game, we're getting a better narrative each time. We're
100%.
getting more in-depth puzzles, and we're getting more things that kind of separate the experience for both of us to make it interesting to play through at least twice through.
Exactly.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this title that really kind of encapsulates everything they've learned throughout the last 3 games. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. This is a January must play for me. Out there with titles like Dead Space, which come out in January as well.
Yeah.
Games that I need to play. I need to play straight away. I'm going to really enjoy.
Busy month. Add in that.
Oh, think about this, right? We got right this month at the moment. We got God of War. We got
God of
Callisto
War.
coming out now. In
Call of Duty is still
2
out.
weeks.
We still going to be
Still
playing
out.
it.
Dead
We
by
still
Daylight
gonna be
still
playing it.
exists.
We got Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core coming out
Oh,
at the end of,
yes,
the
we
end
do.
of December.
Oh, baby.
Then we move into January. We got We Were Here Forever, and we've got Dead Space.
Golden Age.
And then we're moving into the game that can't be mentioned for territory.
No, February, mind. Hogwarts Legacy.
We got a break in February. We got a break. Speaking of taking a break in February, do you want to pass this over to myself or
you,
Phil
yeah.
to be able to talk about the next game?
Fucking hell, I'm sick of this, are you?
Let's
It was a
move
good
this on.
interlude, was it not?
Yeah.
Alright, so I am passing over to you, Davey. And going back to the game that your nominees, I'm going to give you an impression. kind of, you can do what you want with this. You kind of have an entire universe to play with.
Okay.
I want to hear an impression.
No Man's Sky.
An impression from Marvel Snap.
Oh, snap.
Just anything.
So just anyone from Marvel.
Yeah, but you get to choose. So we're kind of going to get an idea
It's
of which
clobbering
character
time.
comes to your mind.
I was just about to do that. As well.
Really? Is that the go-to?
I was. I was about to do that. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. What came to my straight away is the thing. It's clobbering time.
clobbering time.
But that's gone now.
Yeah.
So, well, do you know what? I haven't played Marvel Snap. All I do is, right, I've got Duolingo. So I get, so on Duolingo,
Mobile gaming.
that is my close I get to mobile gaming.
That's
And
the fix.
I get on there adverts all the time for Marvel Snap, and it's random box. I never pay attention to it. So if I've got the opportunity to do any character from Marvel,
Basically do.
it's a character that we've done on the show before.
Scarlet Witch.
No, no.
The Juggernaut.
No. And it's a character that's never been done right. Whenever we've done it, it's always been the wrong impression from what I want.
Gambit.
Not Gambit.
Because all the
gonna
Gambit impressions be
It's
shit.
going to be Doctor Doom. And I'm going to do a very specific one.
Okay.
We have done Doctor Doom, and it was always hidden missiles.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas I'm going to do a one from Marvel versus, a Marvel superhero. He goes, over those socks. Over those socks. And it's lasers. I don't know what he says, but it sounds like open those socks and lasers spill out from here. But he goes, over those socks. And that's all he does. Quick news. That's all I'm going to do. So guys, this is kind of in the rumour territory, but it's also been confirmed by multiple sources.
Okay.
So I thought it was best to stay in quick news. So you know, as well as I do, that Call of Duty has now moved to a 2-year timescale. So we're going to be experiencing Modern Warfare 2 for this year and for next year, before we get the next title released by Treyarch in 2024. Well, it turns out what's happening is that doesn't mean we're going to get no Call of Duty next year. We're going to get a full DLC pack, which is apparently worth as much as a standalone release, developed by Sledgehammer Games 2023. So what does that mean? It means that we may potentially get an extension to the campaign, which I'll be all for, because I know these guys...
That's interesting.
These guys haven't played it. It does end on a cliffhanger. There's ways that they can do that. It saves us waiting 6 years for the next kind of pickup on that.
Modern Warfare 3.
I'm more than happy with that. The issue is, though, we got the launch of Warzone, we got the launch of the multiplayer's already up and running, there's a shed load of modes, we got Spec Ops already there. What more can they add in to really make that worth the price tag, especially at the rumoured $60? I'm not sure.
High end, isn't it?
It is.
exactly what-
High end for a campaign.
Yeah.
Have you got any ideas on this then? Spence?
100%. Zombies. Just zombies.
No way.
They will never do it. They would never do it. If they released a full-on zombies with 4 maps, just 4 maps, and a campaign, but like a full zombies mode like the games before Vanguard, because Vanguard was shit. If it's anything like the zombies modes before, it'd be worth 40 quid, just with a campaign and zombies.
What about the twin stick? Would you include the twin stick shooter?
Dead Ops
in that?
Arcade? No.
Yeah, no.
That's a Black Ops exclusive, always.
But doesn't this give them scope to try something new? Because the setup here is new, in the sense that it's a continuation of the same game, but there's a lot more kind of funding going into the system here, right? There's a lot more money going around, right? So why can't they come up with a third thing that maybe this is the thing that actually people look forward to a little bit with Call of Duty? This potentially could have potential.
I get what you mean.
You know where I'm going, right?
I get what you mean. I suppose the thing with that is, like, Modern Warfare, when it first launched back in 2019 and whatever it was, that first launch with Warzone, that was its big thing, right?
Yeah, it
Warzone launched with that. This has
There we
got
go.
Warzone 2,
Yeah.
with just launched with the Season 1 update of Call of Duty. That's this big thing. So I don't know. I mean, the thing for me is all going to be on price. So if we get 30 quid and they say this comes out with a campaign, excellent. I'll gladly pay that. The campaign was way worth 30 quid for me. I really enjoyed it. If they come out and it's like 60 quid,
They will.
70 quid, but you've got no extra stuff, there isn't the zombies, I don't even think campaign zombies would be enough. It might be. I'd be very skeptical going in though.
As would I, yeah. It'd have to be the full package for both. The full campaign on launch and zombies, and it just crossed my mind but I'd love for them to chuck in Champion Hill.
Oh,
I'd
Champion Hill would be
love
class.
for them to chuck in Champion Hill.
It's Sledgehammer making it. So
Champion
it could
Hill.
happen. It could happen. Sledgehammer making
There we
it.
go.
That would be, even if they just did campaign and
Champion
new
Hill.
guns, new maps, Champion Hill, I'd be keen.
But it's
Champion
got to
Hill's
be
so
better
sick.
than a season pass when you're thinking about new maps and new guns, right?
Exactly,
It's got to be
yeah.
an extra mode. And that's
Exactly.
what I'm talking about, that they've got this space
Zombies.
here with potential, right? They can try something new. So
can do.
Fingers crossed that, we see something there.
They've just released a new mode with season 1. DMR, it's called, and it's very akin to Escape from Tarkov, where you go through kind of the Warzone map and you loot the world, and if you die, you lose that loot. If you manage to escape, you get to keep that loot with you for your next run. But then it's the same thing, with that loot benefits you, but if you take it with you and you die again, it's gone.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
It's a very interesting and cool mode, and it's also, as far as I know, I think it's the only way to earn some camos.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's something we'll have to keep an eye on then. After God of War's done, and all our attention is back on COD, after Callisto and then Dead Space and
Christmas.
And everything
Yeah,
else,
yeah.
yeah.
when we actually get time to play together,
God, sure.
then yes, I'll check that mode out. But yeah, it's something we'll keep an eye on as the months and weeks roll on. We're getting COD news all the time. I'm really trying not to turn this into a Call of Duty podcast. So
Already is.
it already is. So we'll keep an eye on this. As soon as we get more concrete information, we'll let you all know. Mr. Phil Hoy,
Let's go.
I'm coming across to yourself. This is a game that was nominated this year a couple of times.
Okay, a couple of times.
And we've just been speaking about it. It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, thank God.
Now, I would love your impression of Ghost from that game.
He doesn't know what that is.
I don't know this impression.
All I'll do, I'll give you some direction.
Go on then, give me the direction.
I'll give you the direction. All I want is a gruff English voice.
How English are we going? Are we going cup of tea English?
We're not
There's
going.
lots of different Englishes.
We're not going to the point where it's like where you'd want a spit shine on your shoes. You know, it's like,
like governor.
shine. We're not going to that point, and we're not going to the point where it's an English gentleman. We're going to someone that's from London, but they're a little bit rough, like Peter Bass. Like Peter Bass. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Peter Baz, yeah.
Peter Bass level, but gruffer than that.
Baz, specifically.
Like that, but they're called Ghost. He's called Ghost.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Is he slow when he talks?
Yeah, definitely is, yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
slow, yeah.
almost smoking a cigar?
Yeah, yes, it is.
He speaks. And he comes back and he's like, boy, you won't want to be looking at me like that. Because I'll fucking slap you right in the cheeks. There'll be no facial on that face after this.
Like the lisp he's got.
Yeah, it's weird.
I like it.
Don't draw attention to my lisp. Because I get very angry when people have a go by this lisp.
He's getting Bristol now. But people have a go.
I travel around and wherever my hat lays, that's where I live.
Where my pirate ship goes. It's lovers.
Is that the impression? Quick,
That's great.
quick
Quick
news. Thank you very much. So I've got some news about Dead Island 2. And
Sure.
this relates to me because I am the owner of this beautiful statue that is yet to be named. And of course, for the people that are tuning in at this point, because this is the best part of the show, this is quick news, we need you to name this beauty of a female statue. So the news goes, we have some important news to share. So I'm going to read this verbatim. We have some important news to share. So let's rip that band-aid off straight away. We are delaying Dead Island 2. Surprise. Surprise. The new release will be April 28th, 2023. And the irony of Dead Island 2 is not lost on us, guys, because everyone expected this. It's no surprise. It's the game that just keeps getting delayed. We will never see this game. And I think they're just having a laugh with us. They just released marketing material to sell their old games, their old statues, which you've bought into for my birthday.
True, yes.
And it's worked on you guys.
Yes,
but I see through this. I work in marketing, and that's what they're doing. They're never going to release Dead Island. So we'll get to April, and within our episode, we'll be like, they've delayed it again.
Yeah.
And I'll put my name on that one.
Put a shot on that one.
I'll put my name on that one. coming back round. Spencer.
Yes, my friend.
I would love an impression of a game I don't know too much about,
Sure.
but I feel you would.
Hopefully.
The type of guy you are. I think you might be
Might be an
into
insult.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Absolutely fucking not. No.
But
He looks at the type. doesn't
you
he?
look the type.
He does.
100%. Out of the three of us, look at us.
Yeah, he looks the type.
Do you know what
100%
console that game is on?
Switch.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
okay.
love the Switch.
100%
I
a
fucking hate the
Switchy.
Switch.
You're a
I
Switchy.
pirate
He's a
Nintendo's
Switch,
games.
isn't
I'm the PC, you're the Switch in this conversation.
No. He is.
No.
So
Yes.
let's see
I
something.
love my Joy-Cons.
Let's see something from Xenoblade Chronicles.
It got nominated, did it?
I did.
It did, yeah.
Three
it did.
times.
Wild. Wild.
For Game of the Year as well, I think.
Absolutely wild.
No.
It was.
You sure?
Yeah.
It's not winning.
Insane.
It's not winning. Okay.
We'll cover that in a future topic.
Come on, Switchy.
Alright. All I can... Well, I only know the one thing. It's not even from that title. It's from
Which?
Xenoblade 1, which I've played none of them. And I hate the Switch. The listeners know I hate the Switch because I emulate all of Nintendo's games. I don't touch my Switch unless it's for Smash. And even then, I've quit that game. I was literally playing like 2 days ago. I was playing the other day.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that is bullshit. But the only quote I know from Xenoblade, and it's because it's in Smash. I know 2 quotes. I'll do them both.
There we go.
I'll do them
2
both.
quotes more than I know.
I'll do them both. I can see the future. And
That's good.
Where's he from?
Shulk.
Shulk. And this is the Monalo's power.
That's good. Oh, that's good.
Quick news.
Who knows?
Quick news.
Yeah, that's good.
It was good. Thank you.
Oh, no, he's saying it's good. I don't know if it's good.
Well, I'm agreeing with you, so it's kind of my shtick on the podcast. So, guys, and listeners and watchers, you better be watchers this time because we are putting on a show. Jesus Christ. It is actually Black Friday today, which means there are some deals galore. Now, guys, there is a sale for Black Friday on the PS Store. However, I just kind of want to know which deals have stood out to you. And I'm going to start.
Okay.
The deal that stood out to me isn't actually on the PS Store. And I know that's going to take you guys by surprise, but I mean, if you listen to this show, you're on PlayStation, you can check the store yourself. You're now informed there's a deal. You have the time and you can do it. I'm going to tell you of a deal outside of that. And that deal is actually one that I utilized today. And that was this bad boy. This succulent.
It is nice, though, isn't it?
It's very fucking
good colour.
nice. It's a beautiful colour. It's the colour I've wanted for a very long time.
It looks better in person than it does online. I don't know if you feel about that.
It's the boys' handset, isn't it?
Well, it's supposed
Out
to
of the
be.
two.
I mean, out of the two, it looks like a girl's handset to me. It's
I'd
like-
agree. Actually.
More than this.
Yeah, I'd actually agree.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a
Really?
girl's
Yeah,
one.
this is baby blue, where that's crimson red.
But what I'd
I'm
say
going
is
baby blue
that
every
looks,
day.
that
Same as
looks
my eyes.
real nice in person.
Yeah.
Real nice. I'll give you guys a close up of that. Ack of that.
That looks so much nicer
Oh,
in
you're
person
gonna mess
than
up with the
picture.
focus, so I won't do that again. But that controller usually $65.99 maybe roughly.
64,
64.99. $39.99 I paid, and a deal. There was a further deal that I didn't even utilize because I didn't have to, and that was if I paid an extra £5, I'd have gotten the controller and Horizon Forbidden West.
That is ridiculous.
Bargain.
That's the best deal, I think.
Absolute
Still.
bargain.
Yeah.
So that's my Black Friday deal for you lot today.
I appreciate your deal. Great deal. My deal is all about storage. Now, I'm one of those guys that has never chosen to upgrade the storage. I
We
thought
both have, haven't we?
Yeah, lunacy.
Yeah.
both of you have.
And you have the slowest internet speed as well, so you
Lagging
need
behind.
it the most.
Terrible, guys, yeah. So I thought, well, let's start having a little look. We got Black Friday coming up. Turns out it's a cracking deal for you guys. If you want two terabytes, go onto Amazon. There's I think it's a WD Black. Is that right? Or WD
It's
Black?
a Western Digital SN850X. It has a read and write speed of 7,300 megabytes per second.
You can tell who's more invested in this than I am. I saw it was 2 terabyte and compatible with PS5, and that was enough for me. That's up for $169.99. It's more than £100 off. So guys, do yourself a favour. If you want to upgrade your storage to TB, you're never going to have to worry about it ever again. I would say that anyway.
100%, yeah. I was actually annoyed when I saw this deal because I've obviously just bought for Call of Duty. I bought a 1 terabyte of the lesser model, just at 850, so a 7,000 megabytes read and write speed for about £105, maybe £100 for only like 70 quid more, double the storage. When usually that's like almost 300 quid. I saw this deal. I bit my lip. I was a bit annoyed.
Well, bite that lip again, boy. Because what's Philip Hoy bringing to the table? What deals you got, mate?
Well, guys, I got a bit of a sleeper for you, and this is for the UK audience only. So not you over there. I'm sorry, USA, India. You're gonna have to switch this one off because we're talking about Argos.
Oh, classic
Love Argos.
brand.
Like, I don't even shop at Argos, right? But I got a little notification. I saw it on Twitter that they are selling the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection on PS5 for as little, right? Get this, as $16.99. Man, that is a deal, right? Normally retails at $39.99. Recommended retail price, right? I'm doing my QVC voice here. I could be on there next. Straight after this podcast, I'm going on a QVC. I'm going to sell some rings and some shoes. But $16.99, guys, that is a steal. It's a 5-star game. It's incredible. For those who haven't played this or want to play it again, in of course on the PS5, it's a deal you do not want to miss. So go out and buy that for the UK audience only, guys. All right.
And of course, if you guys have got any deals that you think actually this is something that deserves to be shared, people need to get in on this, then make sure to share it on Twitter with us at MPS We Trust. Go onto the Reddit. Go onto any of our socials. They're all in the description of the show that you listen to, be that on YouTube, be that on any of the audio services. Go on and share that because, to be honest, guys, there's too many to check across the entire internet.
Yeah.
And especially if you're...
We're not everywhere.
No, we ain't everywhere. We ain't God.
We're three guys. 3 mere mortals.
We are. We're not quite God level yet. So we don't have omnipotence right yet. I can't see what you're doing. I can't see you. I can't.
We know what you're doing.
I know you're jacking it. But I don't want to see it. All right? And that's the joy I've got. I don't have to. But I think that brings quick news to a close, does it not?
It brings us towards the end, but of course we've got to hand out a potential shot based around the impressions that we've had tonight.
Of course.
So just as a bit of a recap, okay, so I did a rat, I did another impression of Aloy, it might be getting old, and, and then I did an impression of...
You did an impression of Ghost from Modern Warfare.
I did a
Ghost.
Brilliant impression of Ghost.
You did an impression of Ghost.
Any Londoner who's a bit gruff,
with a lisp,
smoked a cigar,
With a
and a lisp. So they were my characters for tonight. Davey, you had
I had a cat.
cat, nice.
I had Mamiya
Mamiya.
from God of War. And then for my final one, I can't remember who I did.
Marvel Snap.
Oh, I did Doctor Doom. I did Doctor Doom from Marvel vs. Capcom. Oh, those socks. Yes, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Spencer, what about yourself? Do you remember who you did?
Sifu, then Atreus, then Xenoblade Chronicles. Well, it's supposed to be 3, but I did Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Because I've not played... I have no idea what 3 is about.
We don't know what 3 is.
No one does.
It was close enough.
For all intents and purposes, it was Xenoblade Chronicles 3. On the
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch, which is the platform I prefer.
And there we go. So those are impressions.
And a mission there.
It is. Now, Phil, you're always the one in charge of this segment.
Normally.
Pass it over to you. You lead the way on this. Lead the charge. Whoever you want to go to.
Whatever you want, mate.
You do what you want to do.
All right, I'm just going to dive straight in and I'm going to say my favourite because I think we need to reward ourselves a little bit more than we normally do in the sense that we punch down on this podcast. We
love it.
I hate it, but yeah.
If someone messes up, we're all going to jump on that as hard as we can.
100%.
But I think on this
So
one,
with me.
we want to champion one of our contestants here. And I'm going to go a little bit off the normal path.
The beaten path.
It's not yourself, Davey, this week.
Oh, Jesus Christ, not my Mia.
Spencer.
Oh.
And I'm not even building you up for a fall. I really, really enjoyed your Sifu impression. I thought that was spot on.
Thank you.
Maybe the impressions where you don't speak, you know. maybe that's where you excel.
Right, we saw my female swimmer, So I don't know. And my milk and a cow. So I don't know.
They were both pretty bad.
No.
But your Sifu was spot on. For the limited time I've had in that game, I could see that combo. I think you put in a couple of little sound effects. Don't know if they were picked up on the camera, but that was very good. That would be my favourite of tonight.
Thank you.
And I'll hand over to yourself.
Oh, it's me. Ooh. Tell you what, my favourite of tonight. I'm sorry, Phil. I can't kind of give you
Return
back.
the favour.
Yeah, I can't return the love you gave me.
I was trying to play the game a little bit there because I knew mine were pretty terrible.
No. My favourite for the evening was actually the cat, but mostly because you showed some affection to both of us as well. A little
And
bit
he
like
went to
cat
you
words.
first.
The only
Come
thing
on.
is, a cat starts at the head and then like goes all the way up. That's what they do. They stroke the whole thing. Well, you just
Goes
kind of
with
did
the
the head
hair.
a little bit.
Goes with the hair.
And that was it. But it was good, and the noises were bang on as
Oh,
well.
thank you.
But you also have two cats.
One
really,
Yeah,
because the
one.
other one's fucked off all the time.
Yeah.
He's never home.
No.
But you know what they sound like. You've had cats for a long time.
I have, yeah.
Whereas Phil has never had a rat in his life.
I've never had a rat in my life.
So you kind of got the benefit of the doubt, but it was also a very good impression.
Thank you very much, Spencer. For my favourite, it's a bit of a tough one because there was actually, unlike last Quick Newses for the last 6 months.
It's a different vibe today.
It feels good today.
It's a different vibe.
C2 was great. I loved it. I actually thought that remembering the exact combo that beat Sean was really, really good.
Perfection.
The one that I liked actually the most, and this is going to be controversial, I know it, is going to be your impression of Soap.
That's insane. That's insane.
Because what I like
Surely
is...
it's Ghost, but I'll
yeah,
take
it was
Soap.
Ghost as well.
It doesn't
take
matter.
Soap.
It doesn't
I'll take
matter.
Ghost, Soap.
Well, the problem is, I got to correct myself because Soap is Scottish, so that would have been really bad.
Terrible.
Ghost. You did an impression of Ghost, and the
It
thing
wasn't an impression of Ghost.
It wasn't. But I gave him direction, and
he
even
followed
not
it.
knowing it, he followed it, and he gave me a bit of character that I didn't know that Ghost even had. You know, he gave me a lisp. He gave me that he's smoking a cigar, and that he's a little bit gruff. You basically, you gave me an impression of Pete and Baz
Also,
that I didn't know I needed.
not
And I
only
quite
does
enjoyed
he
it.
has a lisp, he's insecure.
He's
about
very,
his lisp.
he's very
He's insecure about his lisp.
very
I
insecure.
think
Yeah.
it's a narrative, but guys, I'm an actor, darling. You give me the narrative, I just follow it. It's just natural for me.
It is.
I just go with the
I
flow.
would say it's all down to good direction, but I get what you're saying on this. I get what you're saying, and I did enjoy it. I actually did enjoy it, and that is a big thing because Spence put out some absolutely immense impressions
I
today.
know, not usual.
Some really good. So for that to be my favourite, it was surprise sleeper hit because I thought he's either going to kill it or he's going to butcher it, and it came out to the level for me. So it hit the mark.
In the words of John Fashanu, awooga. 1 point for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. So we're going to move on to, I suppose, the part where we enjoy
part that matters.
most, actually.
Yeah.
And the
The
part
best
that
part. The
matters.
best part, the best
The
part.
point where it actually matters because we need to take a shot on the big quiz that's coming up in a couple of episodes.
So long.
Not long. So I'm just going to hand it over to Spence, playing the game a little bit here. You're going to have to go first on this one.
That's okay. Well, I'm sorry. I hate that you giving it to me first because I'd have rather you gone first because this might shoot me in the arse. Your rat was terrible. It was 50% a bad rat and 50% Twitch from League of Legends.
He's a rat.
He's a rat,
He
but
is a
it's
rat.
not what was asked.
Sneaky.
Sneaky,
He's a
sneaky.
rat. He is a rat.
It was just bad. And then there's like rats and mice squeak, and you were just like,
What are they eating?
well, you could never said he was
Scratching his
eating.
teeth. He had the metal teeth.
It was just a bad rat.
I'm not going to take offence to this, you know. Like, I'm more of a person actor as opposed to an animal actor.
Sure, yeah. As opposed to Davey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Davey's very good at the animals.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the way it goes. But I hate to give it
You
to you,
should
mate,
see his downward
but-
dog. It's very good.
Love it.
But I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
You'll be seeing it later.
I felt it. But yeah, sorry, mate, but I've got to give it to your rat. I think it was just bad. That's the way the cookie crumbles, though.
That is the way the cookie has crumbled tonight. Davey, we're going to move on to yourself.
You don't want to move on to me for you don't, because the rat was really bad. The rat
really
was
bad.
bad because here we go. We got a mammal that we all know very well. We know they squeak. You could have had it go into a mouse trap. You could have had it getting caught. You could have had it nicking some cheese. You could have been quite comedic with it. You can really take a rat, such a common animal. You can take it as many places you want to go. It was bad.
Without direction, I'm nothing.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
It was all direction.
Your Aloy, the second crack at the pie, the second go, and still can't even remember that it's all about her stash. Had to be queued up for it, and then even then, butchered it. It was diabolical. It was a waste of my time. And
All right.
straight up no.
All right. Seeing as I've had 2 cracks at the whip here,
Yeah. You can do it with me in next quick news when it comes relevant.
I'm going to give you the opportunity right now to give me that female voice and to give me that Aloy impression that I should have been giving you guys.
What you should do is you should always remember that she's all about looking at something that's painfully obvious in front of you. So be like, maybe I can reach up to that ledge right there. If only I had the tools in my stash. Let me check my stash. Let me press select, scroll to the right 2 times, press down on R3 3 times,
I don't think she
and
said
hit
that.
my stash. My stash.
That last one was weird.
Turns out none of us can do female
No,
impressions.
we can't.
No, yeah, I get them all the time.
I'll
the
take...
way the cookie has crumbled.
That is the way the cookie is crumbled, and by means of 2 votes to, I suppose, 1, if I was going to pick either of you guys, but I'm picking myself on this one. I was terrible on both of those impressions. I didn't have the time or the effort in that one. The last one, of course, I had a bit of direction. I could move with it. I could play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
I juggled it within your minds and
The lisp
really
solved it.
drew you into my
Yeah.
character. But the other ones, I just lost it. So unfortunately, I'm going to take the L on that one. So that's a shot for me on the next big quiz. And we're going to move it on, guys, to the topic.
Stop. Topic time.
So guys, we have finally reached the topic, and tonight we are actually going to be discussing the Game of the Year nominees and our opinions on them. Our opinions on maybe, are they warranted for Game of the Year nominee? Was another game snubbed? Or is it deserved? And do we think it's actually going to win it? So we're going to go with that. I'm going to pass it, tell you what, I'll pass it over, Phil, to you first. I want to know which Game of the Year award you'd like to discuss, and what nominee did you vote for?
Okay, guys. So I've picked a category which I think is related to what we're interested in video games. We like horror games, and we like fighting games.
True.
And this year, well, it's been a year for fighting games.
Yeah.
There has been games, which we'll talk about in a second, and then there's been a lot of everything else. It hasn't been a strong year for fighting games, and I think these nominees reflect that. So we have DNF Duel from Arc Systems. We have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Stars Battle R, which is a very old game, just a lick of paint on that one. We've got the King of Fighters 15. We've got Multiverses. And then for some unknown reason, probably because we haven't had a lot of fighting games this year, we've got Sifu in there.
Yeah, it's not a fun game.
Personally, I wouldn't class as a fighting game. I don't really recognise it in this category at all. And it wasn't even a question for me which one of those I voted for, because I voted for the one that I've actually played, being Multiverses, because we quite enjoyed that. The sort of
great game.
middle-ish of the year that we played quite a lot of that, and
Yeah,
quite
we did.
enjoyed. We did a couple of tournaments, didn't do too well, but that's not about it in a fighting game. It's about seeing the potential and ultimately, being a little bit invested in it. And I thought we got to that stage.
Yeah,
but there's not too many characters in it, even to this day, in my opinion. I don't think it's probably made the kind of progress that I'd want within this fighting game, and I think that's probably why we haven't continued with it, really. The release schedule with Multiverses. I know this was actually my nominee, right? So I don't know why I'm bad mouthing it, but ultimately the release schedule wasn't huge for this game, and if that's my nominee, the rest of the games, I haven't really got too much more to say about them. I want to bring you in on this one, David. I know you are a fighting games connoisseur. Did you play any of the other games outside Multiverses? And of course, we did play Sifu, but it's not a fighting game.
I mean, this is the difficult thing, is that this year, we're very much at that point in the generation where things are about to have a seismic shift. Street Fighter is just about to come out. We're talking about in a few months' time, we'll be staring down the barrel of Street Fighter 6. And that is when everything else better move the fuck out of the way, because you do not want to compete with that, because we've already played it and we already know how immense that game is, right?
I don't know if I fully agree with that.
What?
Off the bat.
What?
Is this because I beat you?
It's not because you beat me, and I don't feel like you. I think we walked away on a pretty even keel there.
I won the set.
If that guy hadn't have cut us off, I feel like my guile would have smashed your jury in more ways than one. Very pretty character.
Didn't happen though.
But what I'm talking about here, guys, is Project L. It's on the horizon next year, and I am a Riot fanboy, but I feel like Project L, and what I've been hearing in the FGC, I watch a lot of Maximilian's YouTube, I mentioned him earlier, they're worried about what's going to happen with this, because it's a free-to-play model. It's from a very popular franchise, and it's got some very influential people within the fighting games community contributing towards this title. And I feel like it's going to be something. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something, and I think it needs to be recognised. And me personally, I cannot wait, because I love fighting games, I love League of Legends. Yeah. It's just the two things molded together. If there were some horror elements in there, fuck me. Christmas has come early.
I mean, you're right. There's definitely, it's got a big swinging dick hanging around it by being League of Legends. It definitely does.
Two dicks.
The thing about it is, though, how much does that translate to the console market? I don't know how much it does. I don't know. Like, if I didn't know you, I wouldn't have a clue who any of these characters are.
You still don't.
I still don't. I know Master Yi.
Yeah.
You rewrote the meta for Master Yi, didn't you, in one of your previous YouTube videos?
And that's all I know. So I don't know. I don't know how much it means. It seems like a big deal, though. And when you've got someone who's got such a tried and true success path as Riot do, then you'd be silly to discount it as something that doesn't matter. I think it does. I think when you got something like Street Fighter, does it need to worry about Project L? I doubt it.
It doesn't.
I don't think it does. I think it's going to be a tricky one. We'll have to wait and see, but I think that anyone else, I can see this taking a bit of their lunch. I think this is kind of like the Fortnite situation, where Fortnite is kind of too big and it doesn't have to worry about too much competition. Street Fighter is kind of in that echelon.
Street Fighter comes out, you've got to go to the shop, or you've got to download it, and you've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Project L comes out in the same way Multiverses comes out, but their characters and the support that's given there is like on a 11. Multiverse, it came out with this Batman, it came out with this Harley Quinn, it came out with this Shaggy. These are the characters, right? League of Legends is on a whole different kind of plateau than kind of these characters in my mind. And I know you're talking about console here, but I'm not just talking about PlayStation. Sorry, it's a PlayStation podcast. But FGC isn't a console specific thing.
No, it's not.
Tekken was huge on PC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Project L is going to live on PC.
Yeah.
It's going to transition out, but it'll primarily live on PC because that's where the League fans are, and that'll bring it in.
Do you think it's going to come next year? Do you really think it will? I
won't be putting my name on this, and I won't be putting a drink on this,
Great
but I think I'm hopeful that we'll see something.
Something.
I mean, we've
Playable.
only seen one thing so far, right?
I don't think it's coming
We've
next
seen
year.
a bit more than one thing.
We had like some teasers. We've seen one thing of gameplay, I think.
Yeah, we've seen one match between two different people. And
Like, we saw
Darius and Ari.
And the entire
Definitely.
FGC kicked off because there was wall text. I remember that. There was a wall tech and everyone just went, no one likes wall text. And everyone like, Project L's in the bin already. And that was it. That was all I've seen. I'm a fan of League of Legends, as are you. If I could play as Jinx or Soraka, that'd be sick. I don't know what she'd do. She'd chuck some bananas out.
Let's just move the conversation of a dead
But
character.
I would love...
Jinx is fine, right?
Jinx would be nuts. She'd do some crazy combos, smack you with a massive RPG gun. It'd be sick. I'd love to see it. Will it be Street Fighter 6? Absolutely not. No way. Capcom have had so many years of making Street Fighters, and I don't know how they made the third and then made worse games after. But hopefully this is them fixing that.
So revisionist.
Hopefully this is them going back to number 3, which they haven't. They've gone back to number 4, which, to be fair, the second best one.
One of my favourites,
Well, yeah, it's my favourite.
Yeah.
It's the second best one. It's my second favourite. And they've gone back to that. And it's sick. We've played it. It's fantastic.
It is.
All they have to do, well, they're just going to be making it better. What else can we ask for? Just put it out. Put it out. This game's done. We've played it so much.
And they need to support it and not nickel and dime us with...
They'll nickel and dime us. They will.
It's Capcom. I think they're going to go down that route. And I feel like that's where Project L has its,
Project Legs.
Yeah, it has its L is for legs, purely because Capcom's going to be charging you it's going to be charging you up the wazoo for every character that drops. Season pass, you're going to have to buy a new edition. It always does the same thing, right? Yeah. But wait a week and it's 20 quid. So it's fighting games for you.
It's true.
Yeah, and I suppose going back to thinking about what's out this year, as I was saying,
because we have just talked about 2 games that aren't actually on.
We did say this wouldn't be an hour-long topic, but it might be an hour-long topic.
It might be. Going back to the games that are there this year, as I was saying, it's a bit of a tricky moment because we've got a lot of big things on the horizon, and these are the releases that are out this year, but they're not necessarily the biggest games. DBZ Fighter's still blowing up crazy numbers. Street Fighter 5 still blowing up crazy numbers. These aren't the games that people really consider in the fighting game genre. Smash isn't in here. We're talking about multiverses, right? We're talking about kind of the B grade level. And what I feel is...
King of Fighters is very just the 2D market.
Oh, it's niche.
It's very niche.
Yeah.
And what I think is that what they've done is they've looked at it and they said, right, we haven't really honoured Sifu enough out of the categories we got. It's kind of a fighting game. Shall we just put it in there? And that's what I feel they've done.
Sifu?
Did I vote for Sifu? Yes.
Fuck off.
I did. It's a better game than all of these. And that's all that came down to. No matter what genre it is, it's a better game.
It's not a fighting game, though.
No. But is Multiverse a fighting game? We go to the age-old question. Is Smash a fighting game?
Yes, it is.
Oh, here we go. Is it?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
It's a platform fighting
yes,
game.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think you've been outvoted on this one.
Yeah,
for once, me and Spencer are going to agree. And
I voted for Sifu anyway.
Sifu's not a fighting game.
No.
Did I vote for it? Yes. Yes, I did. I did. Because out of all these games, it's the best game on there. And I think, as far as I know, this is the only category it was nominated for. Yeah.
This is why I think
it deserves so much more.
It's a stitch up because it was put in here to win this category. And that's what I reckon is going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll win this, even though it doesn't deserve to win this because it isn't in that genre.
It won't win this. It won't.
You don't think
Multiverses will win this?
Do you reckon?
Multiverses had a huge launch and no one else has touched any other games.
Sifu was actually nominated for another one, which is Best Action.
Oh. I voted for it in that as well.
Yeah, I must have voted for it
So
in
that's
that
against
as well.
Bayonetta, Call of Duty, Neon White, TMNT, and of course Sifu.
I did vote for Sifu.
It is in multiple categories, but I just don't agree it.
I did vote for Sifu.
I would see it more in the action.
I agree with you. It definitely is more in that category.
100%, yeah. It's a single player game. Fighting games aren't single player games.
Well, this is the thing with the Game Awards is that every single year you get some controversy where they try, and what they do is for the games that they already really like, they try and make sure they kind of scattershot it across a few different ones. So, say for example, we love this game, but we didn't include it for best game of the year. Let's put it in on this.
Yeah.
The Game Awards is basically a shopping channel. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, but you only
it's basically a showcase of the newest games that they want to push you. And I kind of feel like that's why Sifu is in this category, because they want to sell it. It has fighting in it.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
No.
But that's the reason it's nominated here, and plus, there's no other fighting games.
The reason it's nominated is usually there's 6 nominees, right? Roughly? 5 or 6?
5.
Yeah.
5.
Oh, if it's just 5. Even so, what else could they have nominated? What else could they have nominated?
There's no other, right?
I think that's the sole reason is they were just like, fucking fighting games. Sifu pops up and like kind of recommended on your Steam library or something. They're like, yeah, bang it in. Sure, you can do a combo.
Do you think the devs got that letter through, or the email probably these days, modern day, of course, and they thought, fighting game,
Chuck it in.
we're up against what? King of Fighters? That's a legendary fighting game. Multiverse that, but they might not be in the FGC, so they might not understand that people really haven't taken to it in the same way that maybe people take to Street Fighter, they take to Tekken, they take to Mortal Kombat, the big names, right? But these are fighting games. These are true fighting games. So that's the difference. I think they just laughed. I would have if I was.
I'd have laughed.
I mean, I would have thought free. We've won that free. We've so won that free. I mean,
that's so unfair, man.
It is unfair. Their last game was a game called, I think it was called Absolver.
It was Absolver, yeah.
Yeah, and what that has 2v2, that has 1v1 fighting in that, and that's actually that is a fighting game. Does it play like a fighting game? No, it's kind of a bit weird in how it controls.
But it is one.
But it is one. This isn't.
Like Nidhogg.
Yeah, like Nidhogg. Nidhogg is the true fighting game. That's the fighting game of the champs.
Sifu's actually nominated a third time with the best indie as well. So it actually is nominated quite a lot.
It's got some tough competition.
They are trying to sell this game.
It's got some tough competition in that category. Who's it up against on that one? It's up against Stray, innit?
Cult of Lamb. I think that's a big name.
Cult of Lamb is a big name. Tunic's a big name as well.
Tunic as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough category. Stray being in that same category is a tough one.
Oh, actually, I voted Sifu for that.
Did you? I voted Stray on that one.
I voted Sifu.
But
I thought Sifu was better than Stray.
oh, it's a tough one. They're both amazing. Right, well, let's move on from that then, guys. Let's move on. So we move on from that one. Spence, should we go over to yourself?
Sure, mate, sure. So my choice for which category of video game awards we're going to do, actually not even video games, but awards for them, I suppose.
It's like a category you would do, Phil.
It is
This
best
one.
music.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
The Game Awards. I love the Game Awards. Let me tell you 5 things about the music that I loved this year. Let me tell you about the fireworks. They used a specific pH balance in their phosphorus this year, and it went up a charm.
Why have I suddenly come from London?
It's because that ghost,
Ghost, the ghost impression. That's how I sound.
ghost impression.
Right, okay.
Ghost McTavish.
Okay, now.
What it was, mate.
Let me tell you about these fireworks in
Spence, why don't you tell us about these nominees?
Sure, mate, sure. So my category is best adaptation. So that is a show or a movie based on a video game. And the nominees are as follows. Arcane, League of Legends, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted. Oof. Now, this was actually a really, really tight vote for me. Really tight. So I'm going to save my decision to last. I'm going to ask you boys what your nominees were for this. Who did you vote as the best adaptation? Phil, coming to you first.
I think it's pretty obvious, but it's completely biased because
Yes.
Arcane came out in 2021. We are in 2022, and it is still being voted for.
Did it?
When did it come out?
It came out in November 2021.
Oh, that's
it
bullshit.
shouldn't be allowed. It
so
shouldn't even be voted.
ultimately,
They didn't have a fifth thing.
That's
I've kind of given it a reason for it not to be voted. But when I looked at the competition, I was like, that series is just that worthy.
What won last year? Did they do one of these last year?
It probably would have won last year. I would have imagined.
They must have not done
Surely
that,
it hasn't been voted, like, put
Well, it
up.
came out in November. This comes out in December, so possibly it would have been nominated last year.
If they put it up as a nominee last year and again this year, that is absolute bullshit.
That'd be.
Do you remember what pissed me off when they put Among Us up for Game of the Year?
Yeah.
3 years after it released, because it had only just been popular.
He's only
and
just
they've done
got-
that again.
You only just got over that.
Oh,
It's been brought up again.
Still going.
that pissed me off to no
Yeah.
extent. A game should be judged the year it's released, not when it's popular. It's like voting for No Man's Sky after all the patches. It's bullshit.
Well, No Man's Sky does actually come up. It's best community as well.
That's fine,
The
because the
support
community is an ongoing vote.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing thing. This pissed me off. I mean, I almost voted Arcane. Spoilers. But it really pissed me off. Fantastic show, mine. Really good.
Haven't seen it.
Everyone should
Haven't
watch
seen
it. It is phenomenal.
It is the best thing I've ever watched, I think.
The best thing you've ever watched.
Yeah.
Better than Breaking Bad.
As an animated series.
Oh, there you
Also-
go. Better than Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Mega biased
But
opinion mine.
it's so
and he'll stand
different
by
to
that.
Dragon Ball Z, isn't it?
It's
Yeah, it's mega biased because I love League of Legends, but
Yeah.
everything that goes into it, it's so deep, man. It'll make you cry. It's so short, it's
It
like
is.
6 episodes, right? And it makes you cry. It's
fantastic.
heart wrenching, right? And you don't even have to know the characters, right?
You really don't.
I watched it, like my parents watched it, and they were like, they just couldn't believe what had happened there between Vi and Jinx, and man.
So good.
Like even just talking about it gets me emotional.
wow.
It honestly has a hold, and I think something that can like affect you in that way definitely deserves the praise of like being nominated to back-to-back
2 years in a row. Yeah.
and like like a straight 10 out of 10. Like it
Wow.
is that for
It
me.
is phenomenal. I do have to echo his thoughts. It is absolutely beautiful in the way it's made, and it is just a near perfect show.
Yeah.
If not a perfect show.
Huge praise, guys. I mean, this is one of those things that you know what it's like. You got limited time, and I either spend it playing God of War, or I spend it watching TV, and or jacking it like a madman, jacking it like a madman. And I've really gone for the jacking it and the God of War.
Primarily, I'm just jacking.
Primarily jacking it, but this is one of those things that with Arcane, I definitely will get to. I will get to 100% because I feel like I owe it to myself. And it's the same with something else in this list, Cyberpunk Edge Runners I haven't seen. When it came to me and it came time to voting, I only voted on categories where I had at least 2 of the 5 things that I played. I thought it was fair then, at least, that I had something that I could put my oar in and say. So, I'd watched the Uncharted movie, and I watched the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. And I gotta say, both of them really good.
Uncharted's really good.
It's
I told
really
you.
good.
It's really good, yeah.
It was good.
I told you.
It wasn't great.
No.
And it wasn't. I wasn't watching Nathan Drake and Sully. I was watching Marky Mark and Tom Holland. But was it a fun film? Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. However, I sat down and watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with my son, and Cass adores Sonic. He plays Sonic 2 and Sonic 1 on my phone all the time. I bought him on his Switch, the Sega Mega Drive collection, so we could play Sonic 1, 2, and 3 on there. And we sat down, we started watching Sonic, and I can never get him to sit down and watch a film, ever. And we started watching, and then I was like, I'm going to get up and make a cup of tea, Cass, because I thought we weren't interested. And he was like, no, I want to watch Sonic.
Really?
And
Had
he
that
watched
grasp
the
on it.
entire thing. He watched it all, loved it, and it's just really, really fun. It's a great family film.
Is he excited for the Mario film?
Mega.
Because I'm excited for the Mario film.
He cannot.
I went to see Wakanda Forever the other day,
Great film.
and I saw the trailer for the Mario film, and it's won me over.
The trailer looks great, doesn't
It looks ace.
Doesn't
It is
Bowser?
It
Bowser
makes you
looks
feel like a
sick.
kid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm 38 now, and I'm like giggling at that. When that little fucking like
Penguin.
came
Yeah.
out, man, that had
Chuckle the
stitches.
Penguin's like, do you surrender?
Yeah.
Bowser's like, no.
And he just burns the whole thing down. It was
The balls
So
honestly
sick.
so good, so good.
Yeah, 100%.
So that'll be winning next year.
So Mario is one of those things that would be the film I take Cass back to the cinema for.
Yeah.
Because I haven't taken him to the cinema since he was 2. I took him to the cinema when he was 2, and it was traumatic for both of us. He hated it. It was too loud. You know, it overwhelmed him. But yeah, Sonic 2 as a family recommendation, which is what that category is. That's what it's supposed to adhere for. It hit it for a long-time fan of Sonic, same as me, and it hit it for a kid, which it was designed for.
It's target audience.
Perfect. Great film.
Can't argue.
That's why I voted for it.
Right, well, for me, this was very much a toss-up between... I've watched Uncharted, binned it off. It's a great film. I did very much enjoy it.
He was loving it.
He was at the time. I
No,
remember
yeah,
it.
but this
Talked about it
speaks-
a lot on the
You should
podcast.
watch it, lads. Best film I've ever seen.
I definitely didn't say it's the best one I've ever fucking seen.
Changed my life, lads. Only getting treasure hunted.
No, that was just me about Arcane.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a great film, Uncharted, but it speaks to how good Arcane and Cyberpunk are, because I was really, really torn up about who to choose. This is the award that I kind of just had on my screen and I just stared at for like 10 minutes. And I was just like, oh, which one? And my vote, as insignificant as it really is, because it's one vote, I had to give it to Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Because Arcane, I literally said, not even long ago, near perfect. Cyberpunk Edge Runners, perfect.
Whoa.
Perfect show.
Whoa.
Okay.
And I've spoke on this podcast before as someone who doesn't like Cyberpunk, the game. I do not like it.
None of us do.
No, but I actually
It's a
played
swear
the
word
game.
on this podcast.
It never enough is.
I actually tried to give the game a decent effort and I tried playing it. It was fucking shit. It was terrible. Abysmal. Abysmal.
So dire.
I hated the game.
So
But
dire.
then I heard Cyberpunk Edge Runners to show. It was fucking shit. I heard Cyberpunk Edge Runners to show was good, so I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll check it out. It is damn near one of the best animes I've ever seen. And I'm a neat. I'm a weeb. I've watched a lot of anime. And I cried at the end of that. It's only 10 episodes.
Here we go.
I was
Making you cry.
crying.
Making you cry.
Phenomenal. I tweeted out after saying, although I hate the game, the world they've created in Cyberpunk is truly beautiful. And that's what that show kind of gives across.
I love it on this podcast because if something's good or something's bad, we have way less to say about it, right? If something's in the middle, we can talk for hours about this subject,
Yeah.
right? If something's good, it's fucking ace. If something's terrible, it's fucking terrible. And that's kind of the shit to say about it, right? But the middle part is where we have the conversations. I think with these titles, you know, for League of Legends. I could genuinely talk about it for a long
Yeah.
time, but I think we just need to leave it there because they're 10 out of 10s. They literally are.
I think you're right. I think the thing about it is, as soon as you get the kind of emotionality where it makes you cry after a couple of episodes, you know, and you really get that you're emotionally invested into it, it's done its job.
Yeah.
And that's what we
100%.
want to do.
Yeah.
100%.
It's the same reason why we came out of, I know when I came out of Wakanda Forever, or we came out of, say, any good media, you come out of, I don't know, Last of Us, whatever. If you cry and it really connects with you, you feel, yeah, that's done it. That's it.
Yeah.
So guys, speaking of outstanding, I want to talk about things that really dazzle.
Okay.
Really put that vajazzle on your eyes. Terrible things that
Terrible choice of
rhyme
word.
with dazzle, right? We're talking about art direction. Now, there's a couple of contenders for this, so I'm going to run through those. We got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray. Those are your contenders. I want to know, did you guys vote in it? If you did, who did you vote for and why? Let's start with yourself, Mr. Philip Hoy. Who did you vote for and why?
You're going to start with me.
Yeah,
I think you could probably predict which one of those that I voted for. And it's not Scorn as much as I'm a H.R. Geiger fan. Loved his work on Aliens and all the kind of references they picked up on in Prometheus and, of course, in the Scorn game, because I think that game is just art direction.
Yeah.
I think it fell down on
Gameplay.
every other fundamental part of making a video game outside. We've made some cool, weird alien shit based on H.R. Geiger and the guy's Mike from Korn, right? It's just that in that game, which is incredible, and I love that, and it's amazing. But when we're talking about art direction, and I think you guys might be blinded by the two headliners here with Elden Ring and God of War, and that would be my prediction of where you guys are going to pick. But for me, it's Horizon. It really is. I think this is the game, and I was talking about it earlier, that this is the part of the game that excelled for me with Horizon. The visuals are the best visuals I've seen all year, and I'll stand by that. When you're at the top of the mountain, and Aloy's thinking to herself, how do I jump off this cliff?
I don't think she says.
She's saying that like
What's in my sack? What can I get down on this cliff, right?
If I press select down, right.
What's back in my stash? She's thinking, bloody hell, they've worked very, very, very well here, these graphics. Gorilla, hats off to them, because it's a fabulous looking game, and it's a treat for the eyes. And in my opinion, for what I've seen in God of War, it's no competition. Horizon Forbidden West is head and shoulders above what I'm seeing in God of War currently.
Wow.
If you don't want me just taking this straight away, Spence, only because I played Horizon, I know you haven't yet.
Yeah, crack on.
Phil, I completely agree with you. I think in
Hot
terms
down. First time. How many episodes are we on?
Oh, it's
56.
not 100% agree.
Oh, okay.
It's not 100%
Okay,
agree.
okay.
However, I will agree.
He's agreeing until you're wrong.
He's agreeing until then he says, oh, actually, I really like God of War better.
If you were comparing the two, God of War and Horizon,
apples for apples here.
then Horizon smashed out of the park.
Really
No
is.
questions asked.
Yeah.
100%. The difference is Horizon looks like a next-gen PS5 game, and it really does look like that. It's fantastic. It's the best-looking game on the PlayStation 5, 100%. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Best graphics. God of War looks like a PS4 game upscaled to PS5.
True.
I think that's how it is.
It is true.
Potato Chief?
No, it does. It does.
It does.
But when you're talking about art direction, you're talking about a lot more than just graphics.
I am.
And that's where Stray excels.
God.
And that's where Stray has got my vote. Stray has got my vote. I think it's the most beautiful, immersive world I've experienced this year. And even though I was only there for 6 or 7 hours, the entire world sold me on it, captivated me on it, and moved it a lot more than the graphical fidelity that Horizon Forbidden West did. And so for me, Stray, easy winner. I don't know how you feel about this, Spencer.
Well, I had 2 votes in mind for this, and obviously I'm only 6 hours into God of War Ragnarok. However, I adore it. I said earlier it's almost a 10. Very much adore it. Art direction, same as the initial game. Let's be honest. There's the same game with snow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
for
think
the
that's
art
fair.
direction, there's not a lot of innovation there. I haven't played Horizon yet. So my toss-up was between Elden Ring, which has phenomenal art direction.
It does.
Every FromSoft game really does. They excelling it. But, Davey, I have to agree, Stray. Stray, as much as it's... Compared to the 3 headliners, Horizon, God of War, and Elden Ring, graphically, it underperforms compared to the 3.
It's different.
But that's the art style they tried to go for, and it matches with their art direction, and it works really well in tandem with each other. So as much as it lacks graphics compared to the others, it makes up for in its art direction, which I feel like the other games kind of didn't care about as much because they cared so much about graphics. Not Elden Ring. Elden Ring's the exception because Elden Ring graphically isn't really very impressive, but it's beautiful, and Stray is just a step above.
I've got a question for you. So Stray is an indie game, correct?
Correct.
Classed as an indie game.
Yes.
Even though it's got a fairly sizable studio behind it. But when you think about indie games, you think about that man in his shed working away tirelessly on this video game.
Yeah.
And they've produced something that you are now rating over a Sony-owned studio.
Yeah.
Within God of War and Guerrilla.
Yes.
You're saying that the best art direction is this indie studio for this game.
100%.
Yes, I completely agree.
100%. I think...
I can't get on... I haven't played the game, but I can't get on board with it.
I think the way you got to change your mind is you're not talking about... It's not a competition for best graphics. Because otherwise the category wouldn't be called best art direction, it'd be called best graphics. And then you wouldn't have a look-in. Elden Ring wouldn't be there.
Elden Ring wouldn't be there. Scorn wouldn't be there.
So I think the competition would be between Scorn and Horizon Forbidden West, if I'm honest with you.
Really?
In terms of if you're talking about best graphics, yeah, those would be the 2 contenders. God of War, Ragnarok, Stray, Elden Rings wouldn't be there.
I think the game we can't be mentioned, Village, as well, would be there. I think
It's last year's though. You'd have to do a.
I don't know if Arcane can. Then
But you'd have to do an Arcane on that.
It was that good.
But this is what I'm saying. It's not about that. It's about art direction. Art direction is all about creating a world. And I think out of all these contenders, I think the ones that are worthy for this are Elden Ring and Stray. I think that's it. Because Horizon, sure, it made great jungles. Was there any character in that jungle? Not really.
All the people, what they were wearing, every person was individual. You spoke on a previous podcast about when you went into that world.
That's more the narrative, though.
That every person was individual because not only what they were saying, the way they were looking, what they were dressed in, it all set. And that's art direction.
That's Stray does that, and it makes them all feel
for 6
unique,
hours.
But it feels unique, and it feels like a proper lived-in world that gives me an atmosphere and gives me a feeling that Horizon
every
could
bow,
not even remotely.
every weapon that Aloy picked up, every stone she picked up mattered.
Well, only because she told you about it 500 times. But no,
Stray wandering around with a stupid computer on her back or whatever it is.
Trust me, when you play it, you'll see the difference we're talking about here.
Honestly, hang on, I want to interject. In this category specifically, I understand this conversation. I don't think God of War and Horizon compete. I don't think they even should have been nominated. They're both just the same as their predecessor, but with better graphics rather than art direction.
I'd say Horizon isn't. Horizon
isn't. God of War very much is.
Right, yeah, God of War is.
God of War very much is. I can't speak for Horizon, but God of War very much is. Elden Ring is its own thing, and each like segment of the game. I spent 50 odd hours, almost 60 hours into that game, and every single area you go to is so very different from the last, and every armor, every weapon, every boss, every character, that's so beautifully crafted and with such different. The entire game has art direction, and then they've changed it for this part. They've gone a different way, and it just works. It creates the world that you kind of explore, whereas Stray kind of stuck to its art direction, and it stuck to it very well, and it kind of graphically it doesn't keep up with the other games in this category, but it made up for that with its art direction, and I think it beat the rest in that regard.
It's the same way that you can think of, if you were to compare in the same year, you got something like, say, Wind Waker for Legend of Zelda.
Beautiful
amazing art design,
beautiful
stands the test of time. That may have come out the same year as, say, something like, I don't know, God of War 3. Out of the two, which one stood the test of time? Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Easy.
It's
I know
just
they
because
can
of the
come out and sing
graphical
it,
style.
but that's what the
isn't
art
it?
style's all about.
But it's not about longevity. It's
But
about
that's
what you feel at the time you see it. We're talking about nominations for 2022. We're not in an Arcane situation where we're talking about next year.
Very true.
I will say
this
the art
is best
direction
art
for Arcane
direction.
was phenomenal.
This is best art direction. It's not taking anything else into the game. This is just taking what art this game brings to the table. Is it unique? Does
Tell you
it
what,
stand out?
you've got some art cards there for Stray.
Don't open that.
You
up
could have
yet.
a look.
I'm hoping he never opens
And
that.
I think
I'm
I've
hoping
got
that
some art cards for Dead Island Riptide, so maybe I can compare, maybe I'll see what best art direction is going on over here. But I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on this.
think so.
This
Yeah,
one.
very
I think
much.
I'm solidly on Horizon Forbidden West, and you've picked Stray, and Spencer's followed along on that one, unfortunately.
Oh, well, I picked Stray without knowing his nominees.
Yeah, I picked.
Because this is another one where the last one I was very torn between Cyberpunk and Arcane. This one was the same thing where I didn't want to vote God of War or Horizon. I haven't played Horizon. I'm very limited in God of War, but I feel it's very much just following suit to the prior game. Elden Ring has beautiful art direction, and I feel like Stray just kind of succeeds that. And so I had to pick Stray, even though I love Elden Ring infinitely more than Stray. Not saying Stray's bad, I adored Stray. But I prefer Elden Ring, and I still picked Stray. So I think it just kind of speaks volumes.
Well, as you said, Phil, I think you're right. It's time for us to move that on. We're going to have the results of this in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see what those winners are, those losers are.
I
We'll discuss
honestly
it.
don't think any of us are going to get it right.
Elden Ring's going to win.
I think Elden Ring won't win.
It'll be Elden Ring or God of War that will just sweep everything. Unfortunately, because it's not based on the categories, it's just based on popular
People
opinion.
just vote.
It is, yeah.
And we've got the Xbox crowd voting for Elden Ring, and we've got the PlayStation crowd voting for.
Xbox
bit of both.
Xbox crowd are voting for Scorn, fella. They're voting for Scorn.
I don't think.
I think they won't back that.
I don't
horse.
think they are. Horizon ain't going to win.
They're voting for Vampire Survivor.
So, yeah, it's not even. Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's move on to the big finale.
The big one.
The big one.
The big.
So we got
honkers.
the game.
This is 6.
The game of the year. Now we got 6 different things up here for discussion, guys. So we got A Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War: Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray. Which I told you would be a fucking game of the year nominee, didn't I?
Madness.
I told you.
Madness.
Honestly, I didn't think it'd get on.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Which
those
speaks
are
to
your
how
games.
few games could be nominated.
There's 4 there.
So, I want to talk to you guys about your thoughts on this list, who you voted for, if you want to go into that.
Leave that for last, but yes.
Leave the vote for last.
All right. Okay. I want to ask you guys your thoughts on this list. Anyone you think has been snubbed from this, or are you quite happy with this list?
Let me jump straight in there, Davey.
Sure.
Because I think all this is complete bullshit against Horizon, right? When the original Horizon came out, it was pitted against, what was it? The Zelda
Breath of
game.
the Wild,
Breath of
yeah.
the Wild,
Breath of the
right?
Wild.
So it stood no chance because
Shit game, by the way.
by
Yeah,
popular
shit game.
opinion, that is one of the best games ever created.
Wrong,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's wrong, but that is the popular opinion.
Yeah.
There's lots of those out there which we do not agree with.
Because all the Xbox are playing Nintendo games. 'cause they
PS3,
don't have their own.
RE4. Oh, come on. Don't make me do it.
That is the button.
I think that's a button.
That is the button.
Come on.
That is the button.
That's a clear button.
Oh, yes, man.
As I was saying, there is 2 games here that people will just look at and focus on. So we've got the PlayStation crowd that are split between God of War and Elden Ring. They will be their 2 favourites. They won't even look at the rest of the list, and there isn't anything else there. Stray and Xenoblade Chronicles, if I can say that correctly, it's not even on the radar. Plague Tale Requiem, it's just not going to stand up to those 2 behemoths of games. So people are going to say A or B. Then you've got the Xbox crowd, and I suppose probably the PC crowd, isn't it? They love the Souls a little bit more. God of War has just come to PC, I think, on the PlayStation
It has,
apps.
yeah.
So we've got a few followers there, but I think if we're looking at video games as a whole, more people are going to be touched by Dark Souls and touched by Elden Ring. So that's probably where the majority of the votes are going to go.
Right.
So again, Horizon has been shafted. Because,
Well,
in my opinion...
Do you think it should have come out next year, or what?
Because in my opinion, it's still not the best game on there. I think God of War is the best game. And God of War got my vote. And thank you for almost spoiling my punchline.
That's all right. Oh my god.
What about yourself, Mr. Spencer Davis?
That really surprised me, Phil.
Yeah, it is the best. It is the best.
Well, I think, for one, Stray deserves it to be nominated.
I agree.
However, I literally said earlier, I think Sifu's a better game. So I very much wish...
You guys drinking something stronger than me by putting Stray on there, man.
Oh,
You haven't played
you
it,
haven't
Phil.
played it, you mug.
You haven't played it.
It's
Lewis,
so
mate, calm down.
good. It's so
I will play
good.
it.
You got it there. It's one of the best games of this year.
Come on.
It is. I wish... The thing is, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is only there, so there's a Switch game there. If that wasn't there, I think Sifu would be there.
Do you think they'd do that?
100%.
They didn't do that for Xbox this year.
Plague Tale Requiem.
Yeah, but Xbox hasn't a game there for 10 years.
They don't have games.
True,
What do you mean? What would they put up? Halo?
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Bro.
I was playing devil's advocate, but yeah. I
They
realised
have
how-
to
I
put a
realised how
Plague Tale
retarded
Requiem. It's
you
the
are.
only game they can put.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Scorn. It doesn't have anything except art direction. It has to be a Plague Tale.
Alright, okay, yeah.
The only reason Xenoblade is there is so the Switch has a game on the Game of the Year category. And I think if that wasn't there, Sifu would be there. It still wouldn't win.
No.
But it would be... I think Sifu deserves it more than Stray. And definitely more than Xenoblade. That's my opinion.
Are you going from the bottom up here? Because
I'm saying...
I'm waiting for the punchline.
I'm saying Sifu got snubbed. And that's who I wish was nominated for Game of the Year. Yes. Sifu's
Fantastic.
excellent.
It's excellent.
Excellent game. Fantastic, truly. The amount of times I died to Sean and did the little throwback there. Oh, chef's kiss. I can kill him without getting hit now. Feels great. The amount of endurance and perseverance in that game just makes you feel awesome. Exceptional game. I think that should be a Game of the Year nominee. But would I have voted for it? Fuck no. Absolutely not. Right.
You guys did the same fucking building me up. Think, he's gonna vote the seat.
It's not there, so I can't. Thing is, I think the main issue right now is that I've only played God of War Ragnarok for 6 hours. And I think it's a stellar game, almost 10 out of 10. I didn't rate Elden Ring that high. I rated
I'm
Elden Ring.
sure you rated Elden Ring a 10.
I didn't. Because I said initially...
We'll have to check the Wikipedia on that one.
But yeah, I think
I'm
that's
pretty sure.
I said
it is.
initially Dark
Yeah.
Souls 3 was my favourite FromSoft game.
What, and you still think it is?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Bloodborne's still my favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FromSoft isn't beating that. But I think because this is happening now and I haven't finished God of War Ragnarok yet, I voted Elden Ring as my favourite.
Okay.
There is a slight kind of conversation around why Elden Ring does stand out in the Souls universe, because it is very different in the sense that it is open world, right? I think a lot of the Souls games, even though I haven't played a lot of them and read a bit about them, they are very linear in the sense that there is kind of one
Opposite
or two
linear.
Yeah,
Complete opposite linear.
there is a set path. Elden Ring
Yeah.
is much more open world.
The way it works is that with something like a typical Souls experience, what happens is you walk along a straight path, and then that path branches off into 3 different ways. You got the main way.
So you've got 3 ways,
Kind of like
versus Elden Ring, which is ultimate ways, right?
Yes, yeah. Exactly right. Think about the way that, like, say God of War does it. God of War is exactly this. It gives you a path. You
linear
know
as
where
hell.
that path is, and then it says, "Here's everything else," and you can go off and do that whenever you want to. Normal Dark Souls is like that, but you don't know which way is the right path.
You never
or not.
know. You're so confused the
Yeah,
whole time.
you don't know. You don't know.
It doesn't
God
tell you
of
where to
War
go.
is linear.
God of War's insanely linear because it tells you which is the right path. God of War, Dark Souls doesn't tell you which is the right path, but as soon as you know, like by looking at it online.
No, it's
or
different.
whatever-
Dark Souls doesn't tell you there's a path.
That's
Dark
true,
Souls
that's
doesn't
true.
tell you anything.
That's true.
It just says crack on, have
No,
fun,
it would
good
say-
luck.
It would say, ring the 3 bells, Guardian. And you're like, oh, thanks, I'll ring those 3 bells. And then you like, all of a sudden you go off in the middle of fucking nowhere. And you're like, there's no bell here. And you're like, well done, I'm beating those 3 bosses. Should probably ring those bells, though.
Yeah.
And you're like, I thought I was ringing those bells. And then like 5 hours later, you're back on the main track. Oh, you've rung 1 bell, Guardian. Now to go to the middle of fucking buttfuck nowhere. I'm going to tell you what that is? No, I don't think so. See you later. It's just like, brilliant.
Don't know why you're speaking like CD Adventure, but yeah.
It is like that though.
Alexander.
Especially- yeah, it is. Anyway, getting back to it, what did I vote for? That's probably the easiest thing to just go for on this. Did I vote for Horizon? No. Horizon, let's be real here, Horizon has been the biggest letdown of the year, as far as I'm concerned. The game has gone from being a straight 9 to being downgraded and downgraded and downgraded from every single conversation we have about it. And I've got a lot, before I let you interject, God of War has proven how much of a failed sequel this is.
I know you guys are somewhat connected. There's some sort of invisible umbilical cord between the two of you where you somewhat communicate without my knowledge. Are you just using Spencer's kind of rule of thumb when the more you hear about a video game, the less you rate it? Right? The first time you see any video game, 10 out of 10, brilliant, this is amazing. And the next time I see it, 9 out of 10, 7 out of 10,
No.
6 out of 10. And I feel that's what happened to you at Horizon.
No.
You focused in on the negatives because I agreed with you on the negatives.
No, but what happened
There
is,
are negatives.
There are.
But the rest of the game is outstanding.
the story's great. The story's actually great. Maybe.
Do you want to know
perfect.
what happens next?
Yes. Am I buying the next one? 100%.
Did it look amazing?
Yes. But was the combat great? No. Was it?
Combat was the same. Wasn't it?
Could you use combat in the
Was
water?
was the combat the same as the last 7 years before? Yes. Was my abilities exactly the same as the year before? As 7 years before? Yes.
I don't feel they were that effective, to be honest. I feel
They were not that good.
I feel they almost got less.
They were.
I feel like you were stronger in the first game.
Yeah, I feel
In
like
my
that. I feel
opinion.
like that. I feel like that too.
You could swim and it looked very pretty.
You could swim and it did look great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like unfortunately Guerrilla put all their eggs in one basket and it did look brilliant. But
That's what they're known for.
unfortunately, it didn't hit out of the park gameplay wise. And I think when you've got a game like God of War Ragnarok, which literally takes what the game did before, the same Horizon formula, but everything's improved. The gameplay's so much better than the base game was. It's night and day, and it puts Horizon to the point where there's no way I'd vote for it. It's put it down to an 8. It's an 8. It's a great game, really good game. One of the best games on PS5 from the exclusive party. It's an 8 out of 10.
But with God of War, it's just the same but better. Right? And I'm arguing here more for Elden Ring than I am for Horizon, because Elden Ring is different.
It's Souls but open world.
But they
If you
did
want to say- if you
something.
want to-
I mean, the thing is,
They did something different, and it was a risk to do that, right? Because there's so many people that are invested in the Bloodborne like style of that game, right? They love that series. As soon as they try something different, that was a risk, but they did that.
my issue with Elden Ring, boys, is as much as we said it's Souls but different because they changed the open world, it's fake open world. And you might think, is it really? All you can actually do is dungeons and mini bosses until you do the main boss, which opens the next area. It's no more open world than any prior Souls game, in my opinion. And that's why Elden Ring kind of fell short for me. And I'm literally the biggest Elden Ring. Listeners, watchers, you know, prior to Elden Ring, I was the most excited. The most. And I think this game falls short of Dark Souls 3. And this is the reason. I think it's fake open world, where it gives you this world to explore, but not really. Because you're limited in what you can explore. You don't actually get to progress further than maybe you'd like to, because it limits you. You can explore side dungeons and do side stuff, sure, but you can do that in God of War. You can do that in anything else. You can do that in multiple games. It's not actually open world, in my opinion. Open world is you could go to the end of the game. Breath of the Wild's open world, and I don't like Breath of the Wild, but you can fight Ganon within 10 minutes. You could do the final fight within 10 minutes. That's truly open world. Elden Ring isn't.
So what are we saying here, guys? None of these games are perfect. Because I've got criticisms about God of War, you've got criticisms about Horizon, and now we're criticising Elden Ring, right? So the big three, really,
Let's be honest.
in that list.
Stray wins. Stray wins.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to get to Stray, it ain't happening. So what do you guys... And you're right, I suppose this is the thing. Even games that we rate a 10 out of 10, a fantastic experience, something that you can spend your time in, none of them are perfect. There's always flaws.
None of these.
Even if you get a 10 out of 10,
Lost
and we
one.
vote it for a 10 out of 10, even The Last of Us, there's issues with them. They're not perfect. Even the best game of all time, Metal Gear Solid, There's issues with that, right? There's problems. Half-Life. Well, I'm struggling to think of them, but I'm sure there's one or two.
I don't want to put you on the spot with that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
please don't.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, guys. So what I want to know is, even though they're not perfect, what did you vote for in this Game of the Year?
So I voted for God of War Ragnarok, was my vote. Obviously, I would have loved if Horizon had stepped up a little bit more than it did this year. It did fail on a couple of, fundamental points, specifically combat for me. And I just don't feel like they took advantage of all the new things that they introduced, such as the new animals. Why weren't we able to ride them? The water, why was there no water combat? You just had to come out of the water. There were so many minor things that they could have just improved on there. Otherwise, that would have been my favourite, because I have a special place in my heart for that series. But God of War, honestly, it is a step above the previous iteration of the game, and I am absolutely loving it. Can't put it down. And it is the game that's bringing me away from League of Legends. So it has got my vote as being the game of this year, guys.
Wow.
And yourself, Spencer?
Right, well, my vote this year was Elden Ring, and obviously I had a lot of hype for Elden Ring, and I do genuinely think Elden Ring did live up to the hype, but in my mind, I kind of wanted it to exceed it, and it didn't. It was the exact match for the hype I had, and I wanted it to be more, which I guess doesn't make sense, but for me it does. So I voted Game of the Year. I do think it's the best. However, I do genuinely think if I had put more time into God of War, as far as it's going, because right now for me it's a near perfect game, I think God of War would have taken it had I put more time into it.
I suppose that's an interesting thing to think about. Like, we're here at the Game Awards. This isn't our personal best Game of the Year nominations.
No, it's just what's there, what's been nominated. Right?
Exactly.
What's picked out for us.
See if we ain't there.
We're picking out what's there as of right now at this time. None of us have finished God of War.
No.
2 of us have finished Elden Ring. 2 of us have finished Stray.
2 of us have finished Horizon.
Exactly.
You know?
So there's plenty of possibility. For
Xenoblade?
No, we'll leave Xenoblade. So what I'm saying is that no matter what our choices are, by the time we get to our own Game of the Year discussion, which we'll probably do maybe the start of next year, maybe
Start of
the end of
January,
this year.
Probably, yeah.
Around about then, that's when you're going to get the full in-depth analysis about which game underperformed, which one didn't. But as you can probably tell from right now, and based on my judging right now, I did not vote for Horizon. I really enjoyed Horizon. It did not live up to the expectation that I would have expected. Guerrilla, you said this so well, Phil, so I'm not going to repeat your points, but Guerrilla are those studios they're one of those studios that exceeds on a visual level every single goddamn time. They knock it out of the park. You never have to question them on that. But when it comes to gameplay, they seem to be unable to capture the formula that Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica seem to be able to do so effortlessly.
It's taken that next step, really.
It is.
They've got something which they believe works, and they've just repeated it, as opposed to look for the next thing, the next big thing that they could have introduced to the game. And they've just failed in that for me as well.
100%. And so when I look at these contenders, I adored Stray, I adored Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring was the only other game in the PlayStation 5's lineage that I've given a 10 out of 10 score to. And God of War Ragnarok is exactly that. It's a 10 out of 10. I voted for God of War Ragnarok. For me, it is a perfect game. I literally cannot fault it at this time. Apart from the map system, which is the most minor thing I can possibly think of, I can't really think of anything that God of War Ragnarok's doing wrong in 25 hours. It's a joy. And every single time away from it, I feel like I'm yearning for more. And I think every time you get a game like that, it's a special game. And I'll look forward to seeing how my opinion changes probably by the end of the year. Because I started with Horizon giving it a 9. Now I'll probably give it an 8. Who knows? We got another month to go. We got Callisto in the mix as well.
We have.
God,
that's going to be big. And
Yeah.
what I'm really interested, because none of us have got to that point within God of War, is how does this game end?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Because I really think
That's the thing.
that affects you, because that's the last thing you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if it's not a good ending, that's going to knock you down possibly
No,
a
but I
point,
bet it is.
a point or two.
I bet it is, though.
You know, we got to see where that goes, right? I know from where I am in the story, I know what's predicted to happen.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to wait and see where they end.
Well, I think this is the thing. Listeners, obviously, we're going to pick this back up on the God of War spoiler cast when we get to that. We're going to aim to complete this in the next 2 weeks. Get that spoiler cast out with you within the next month. Easy. And we'll see you back here for the next episode of NPS We Trust. This has been episode 56 of NPS We Trust, our first ever episode doing it in person. It is one-off thing as it currently stands. If you enjoyed it though, if you enjoyed the flavour that you get from not having an online Riverside hosted podcast, please let us know. And do you know what else I enjoy? I enjoy you giving us a subscribe onto YouTube. See that like button?
Oh, baby.
Hit
Just down by there.
Oh, hit it.
Oh, baby.
I'll give you a bit of a clue. Just follow.
Oh,
Follow the tits.
Follow the boot.
Follow the titties.
Down to that corner.
hit it. Hit that.
Hit it.
Hit that
Hit it,
like.
baby.
Hit that like. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Put a comment below. Say, Davey, I thoroughly enjoy your impressions you did today. Phil's, you let the side down. Good soap though. Not soap.
Ghost.
Good ghost.
Ghost.
Good ghost. Good ghost.
Whoever.
Yeah, whoever.
Whatever.
Call of Duty guy. Whatever. Let us know. If you're on Spotify, Google Music, whatever, you know what to do. Just fucking do it, alright? Just please just do it. Save us a job. I've been Davey.
I've been Phil, and it's been my birthday. So happy birthday to me. Thanks,
birthday.
guys, and thanks for the presents. They mean things.
Cheers, Phil. You're
You're welcome. I've been Spence. It's not been my birthday, but I've had a good time regardless.
And that's what we're all here for. A good time, not a long time. Now, listener, love you. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Put a like, subscribe, comment below. See you later, you slag.
Peace!
In PS We Trust is hosted by Davey, Phil, and Spencer. You can write into the show via our email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @InPSWeTrust. To find each of us online, follow our Twitters, @SSJDavey, @PhilipHoy, @SpenPie_. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.